Nasdaq. I will let you guys know when this number comes through. Sorry, I thought I have the number.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That's your boy Joe with the names and the caps, and I'm in the regular letters. What's up, everybody? I'm kidding, man. I'm just being bitter. We're gonna wait for everyone to weasel on over from the other stream, and then we're gonna start shouting everyone out. We already cut a couple of OGs. Shout out to my man Nimit, JF, Trader Kevin, Hawthorne, and obviously the OG Darwin dancing up a storm. We got Matthew Booth and Baron. We got Yannick, Botrix, other Zinc, not that Zinc, the different one. Derek Thompson as well. We got the OG Gorf, Darius Golden. Enjoy fun with Josie. Love that name. Benton CCOYG, baby. Come on, you Gunners. Let's go. We got Atif. It's Moko. We got Mike and Cristiano Ronaldo. Monty G and a proper paradox joining us as well. Barranquilla 2020 hookup. If you want to go to Barranquilla and you want to go back in time, he's got you hooked up for that 2020 year. Shout out to him. My main man, Adam Deleuze, Vic Yan, Novak. Fat Figa says game over. It's all over. Shout out to him. Mateus Lane as well. We got By the Drip. Not By the Rip. By the Drip. Love these names, man. Omar. We got Monty. I already called out Monty G. Christian Paz. Obi-Wan. You called that one out earlier. Blue Arrow. Jeremy Crypto. Like Jeremy Diamond, right?
Jeremy Diamond.
Remember? John D. You have no idea what the hell's going on.
No, I have no idea.
How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm chilling, man. Watching some of these crazy. That ASML miss midday had the Katina man all hyped up, Neil all hyped up, Chips all hyped up.
Everybody's just roaring, dude.
Anything you're looking at before we start the lesson?
Yeah. You know me, Sharif. We like to dive into a little something before the lesson. And that little something today is Bitcoin. Man, how devastating for the bulls. We could not break this resistance level here. I was looking for the move. I think that we were gonna go look for new price discovery and we were gonna continue roaring to the absolute top side here with Bitcoin. But today, that is not the case. It is absolutely selling with the rest of the markets. This is not what you wanna see right here as a BTC holder, Sharif.
Yeah, all right, guys. Everybody wants to talk about drug. I get it. The small caps are in season. We're going to look at it super quick. Not that kind of drug, Fabian. Take it easy over there. We're going to talk about the one that's halted right now. DRUG halted $13.44. I don't know how many halts. I can quickly look here. 1, 2, 3, and it looks like 4. I don't know, maybe 5. I'll have to look at my other chart. Big boy halter up 440%. Here are the details super quick before we get into the lesson in case you don't have it. With this latest 440% pump, we're now sitting at a $60 million market cap, having traded 48.6 million shares on the day, and the float's a light 2.88 million shares. And let's shout out the Nos Boss and Trade Ideas and find out what this one is packing in terms of a short float. And the short float is 3%, not bad, 2.95, not much to talk about there. Funware as well. What year is this? 2022? HKD was running the other day, Katina man. Now Funware is coming back, PHUN. Let me show you guys this one in a hot second over here, if I can weasel over. There, this one I think halted as well at 750, popped up to 8, zigging and zagging right now, south of that $0.50 at 740. This one's in play, 57%. I knew this one as one that we kind of linked with HKD, that big boy Chinese stock, or not. Funware was DWAC? DWAC, that's it. No, not HKD. It was DWAC. It was the DWAC adjacent name, and now obviously that's DJT. So we'll keep tabs on that. My mistake there. So lots to talk about today in terms of small caps. Obviously, the chips in play, no question about that. And these large caps are also in play. Joseph, anything quick before we jump in again?
Hop right in, brother.
You're good. You're good. All right, let's do this, baby. We're concluding our chat today on average true range. We're going to talk about some of the weaknesses of this indicator. Not that we haven't mentioned them already, but let's make it official. So traders, we've explored how ATR, average true range, can be a valuable tool for intraday trading, whether you're setting up your profit takers, your stop losses, and as we learned yesterday, how to set up your trailing stops with them as well. But it is not a crystal ball. While it offers valuable insights, certainly into trading, it has limitations that we need to understand. So let's talk right about that. The allure of the prediction. We all crave that certainty in that ever-changing market, zigging and zagging every which way. We want to get some clarity. The ATR may seem, like that magic magic crystal ball formula that predicts future volatility and price movements, but it certainly is not. You need to remember that the market is awfully complicated and influenced by various unpredictable factors. So just because ATR is pointing one way, you need to look at the plethora of other indicators to get an idea of what the market is trying to say. So the power of ATR, we've already kind of talked about this in the pros of it. It excels at analyzing historical data, and we need to underline that, historical data, because it is backwards looking. Here's how it helps us, even without predicting the future. One, you can understand volatility using average true range. It tells us how much an instrument typically moves in a day. This helps us gauge the market environment and choose suitable trading strategies for that particular day. When we know there's a high ATR, meaning high volatility, or a low ATR, meaning lower volatility, we should adjust our trading strategies accordingly. But it also helps us set realistic targets. Instead of these, fixed profit goals, I want to make $500 a day, I want to make $250 a day. ATR allows us to set up dynamic trading targets based on the expected daily range, which, leads to more realistic profit expectations. It also helps, as we learned, inform your stop loss placement. By considering the historical volatility for the instrument that you're looking at, we can place stop loss orders that account for within the normal price range for that instrument, and preventing, these unnecessary exits. And as we learned yesterday, trailing stop management is important as well for locking in those profits. Combining ATR with trailing stops allows us to dynamically adjust our exit strategy as the price moves in our favor. So keep that in mind. But beyond the ATR, we need to go beyond that. We need to make sure we're considering all forms of technical analysis that fits within our trading style. So use these technical indicators like support and resistance. You often hear the Katina man talk about VWAP, support and resistance levels. That's his bread and butter. That's what he likes. What's your bread and butter? What are you going to mix ATR with? Right? So moving averages are a nice one as well. Momentum indicators like RSI and MACD could be combined with it as well. But you also need to look at the fundamentals. We need to have an understanding of what is in vogue at the moment. We know chips are huge right now, right? So it's not like we're trying to take these solar stocks long, just because we're using some technical analysis. We have to understand what's hot, what's in vogue, and then trade it accordingly using the best of our ability using TA. And risk management as well, man. Always practice sound risk management techniques like setting the appropriate position size and obviously using these stops. And just to remind you guys, the market's dynamic. I know everybody knows that already, but I'm going to repeat it. News, economic events, earnings like this midday earnings from ASML, and investor psychology. These all cause unpredicted price movements. ATR is a tool, not a guarantee. It doesn't predict future price movement. It's backward looking, and we need to understand it as such. I hope everybody prints up a storm.
Yes, sir. Yeah, great stuff there from Sharif, brother, as always. Yeah, we're just here looking. Bitcoin is continuing to move to the downside. And I don't know why it's such a massive rejection on Bitcoin. It looked like we were going to be in blue skies in a matter of no time almost. But I guess someone had other plans, and that's how it is. So let me pull up my iBid here. And I don't know. I was looking to take a long on this thing, but it just continues to sell. Now down about 1.7% on the session. And I was looking for this level here to hold. And it didn't. It broke it in, and now it continued to the downside. So let's see what's going to happen here with Bitcoin and the overall markets. I mean, Nvidia is down and almost 5%, I think, still on the session. So we'll pull up Nvidia here and take a look. Sorry, I'm just scrambling around trying to set some things up. But, man, I thought everything was good. I was talking to Sharif earlier in the session today, and I just said, hey, take a look at this. Like, there was next to no misses on the reports, and then the market just totally tanked. So this is something that you definitely want to see. And everybody's beating, double beats everywhere, and probably a lot of companies raising guidance as well, too. So who knows what's going on with the market right now. And I don't know if it's solely on ASML. Are they the sole driver of what's going on here? I truly don't know. I can't answer that. So all we can do here now is just sit here, wait, and see what's going to happen. And then maybe if we can grab a bottom on something, I don't know. But the market is pretty weak, and the only asset really holding up right now was Apple, but now I'm looking at Apple and it's kind of breaking through VWAP, so it was holding strong as the rest of the market was selling, and yeah, it's kind of bizarre. It's a bizarre session, absolutely. So I think, but hey, that's what it is. Volatility is what we need as intraday traders, and that's exactly what we're getting. So we'll see what the Qs are gonna do. On the session, we're still relatively early. Can it rebound? Down about 1% on the day, which isn't horrible in the grand scheme of things, right? And so it's not absolute panic mode, but when you see Nvidia and some of these other big guys selling extremely heavy, then it's like, what's going on here, and why are they selling? Like Nvidia down NVDA down about 4.6%, right? And that's not something I was expecting at all, but we'll see. I like IBIT here. Maybe it's gonna start to curl over. So maybe we try to wet our beaks in this one and get something rolling. But again, it's just something that I don't really want to see from a daily technical standpoint. And I mentioned this earlier. It was the first point I made on the day is this rejection here off that high is not something that I want to see. And what I had a trade plan a while ago from when this volume signature and this candle printed. And I was like, maybe we continue to go to the top side after this isolated volume signature, and then you have this bottoming tail candle, like a hammer type doji on this asset, and then we continue to the top side. But it's not been the case. So, I mean, they usually say about a year and a half after the halving is when the asset really...
Is that right?
Yeah, so when the asset really, really starts to move. And we're not quite at that point, but let's see here. Let's see what we can do, and that's all we can do is sit here and wait, Sharif.
All right, man. I'm in a couple of trades right now trying to take Walgreens Boots Alliance off this area of what I perceive to be technical support. Fabian around 10 1/3 over here. You had a hold up here right at that level. You also had a hold up initially on that kind of bull flag setup on the pop. So we're going to give this a little bit of room. Let's see what comes of this. Looking at wetting my beak in the mid 40s on WBA. Nice little pullback off that 10 2/3. Good day for it today. Cutting jobs. Sadly, closing stores, but you know that's something the market always seems to like. That's just the way business is run around here. So also in PHUN, seeing multiple bottoming tail candles into this area over here. We're looking at wetting our beak, and there it is. We're moving up here on PHUN. We're 88s. Here come 7s. Let's see if we can blow through 7. Decent size. I mean, nothing to write home about at the whole dollar level. Every gateway's got double-digit lottage, but you know I've seen this one print up multiple storms. So we're gonna pack our patience with this one, looking to curl possibly into that 7 1/4. Maybe there's a lot of chop between 7 1/4, 7 1/3. So obviously, wetting our beak here helps de-risk a little bit. Anything below 670, I'm gonzino. It's got to hold up the bottom end of the range of those bottoming tail candles. Otherwise, I want no smoke. So that's a look there. What's Walgreens Boots Alliance breaking down between 10 1/3. I'm giving this one about 13 pennies. It's got to hold the 20 penny area. It doesn't hold the 20 penny area. I'm gonzino. My only question to myself that I'm still pondering is, do I add at that 10 1/4, 10 mid 20s, right? Because if I have such a tight stop sitting at below 10.20, well, then I can risk adding into that level. And here we are. We're printing 10 1/4 right now. Decision's got to be made. I'm going to leave it. I want to see what it does in and around this area. It's not moving all that fast. It's going to give me, you know, a couple of minutes. I don't know, a couple of minutes, but a little bit of time to decide. I don't need to be super quick with this one like I need to do with the others. So in WBA right now, in PHUN, looking for this curl up. But if this is kind of the umbrella pattern that Adair talks about, where we kind of, you know, curl back up only to break that low, you know, the dead cat bounce kind of thing, I want no smoke. Simple as that. I know you guys are loving drug right now. Guys are bad over there, man. Loving drug.
Love it.
No, I'm playing. I'm not going to touch this one just because it halts too many times.
Get some help.
Yeah, listen to MJ, man. He's talking sense over there.
Help.
I'm pondering whether to have something ready at 11. Right, we know the bottoming tail of this area was 11. We know this candle as well at 11 tail and held up at 11. And look what's at 11. the 10 exponential. And we haven't touched the 10 exponential for exactly an hour. 10:15 was the last time a 5-minute candle bounced off the 10 exponential. So there has been respect for the 10 EMA on the 5-minute chart right now. It's just whether I want to leave an order down there or not. We're going to pack our patience. We're going to see here, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good look there. I mean, there's a lot of earnings plays. I was looking at Charles Schwab earlier today. We'll take a look at that as well today too. I mean, it had a really, really strong pre-market. Understandably so. You got some good numbers, then you're going to continue to trade higher. But anyways, what happened here was had these big moves in the pre-market, and then we start to pull back a little bit. Now we're punching through VWAP, but the momentum has clearly slowed down on this asset. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit and wait. I wanted to get in here, but for some reason I'm having some gateway issues, but that's okay. So we'll figure it out. We'll get those gateway issues sorted out. And then we'll continue to see if we get a pull back towards VWAP again, and then we can continue to the top side. I mean, this thing's been absolutely screaming, up about 8% on the session. So that's something that you want to get into, right? Like the overall market is tanking. I don't know if you want to try to catch falling knives today, if that's your strategy or not, but there's other strong assets, I think, in the overall market as well too, Sharif. So that's something that you might want to look at. Charles Schwab is absolutely buzzing and just under 8% there. But everything else, Nvidia starting to pull back towards VWAP a little bit as well too, and IBIT is starting to pull back towards VWAP too, about down 0.3% there. So good look on IBIT and Schwab there, and we are off to Adara.
Keep an eye on EXEL, please. This one pushing higher. Just here, right now below the $28 level, but we got as high as almost 29s here in this push upside. This one, seeing the circulation of some court documents here, XL is winning this patent infringement case against MSN Labs with regards to one of its products. Though they did rule that not all of these patents were infringed, they also, though, however, this judge did say that MSN's invalidity arguments were rejected. So rejection of the arguments from the defendants here, and EXEL, the plaintiff, winning this patent infringement case. Though, again, $8 billion market cap, not a small cap, but EXEL moving higher here, guys.
Thank you for that, Adara. That's a good look there.
Yeah, very good look there, yeah.
And I think she probably wants the chum-chum.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's a legal case. There you go.
You know what? I
dropped
the ball on that one, didn't I?
It's okay. I just know she loves the legal case.
Yeah, I'm working on something over here. I dropped the ball on that one.
You're good, bro. You're trying to trade,
Give me another fail stamp. That one deserves it. Yeah, F+ on that one there.
F+.
Yeah, that's it, brother. What do you got going on over there?
I'm adding here.
Are you having fun or what?
Okay. The puns are coming in super quick. We just got a VWAP dip on Funware, so I got out of my position, added at that volume weighted average price, but I just got stopped out because it broke the $0.50, so we'll take a loss there on this one. I'm going to have to check to see if I'm negative or positive on it, but now I'm not going to trade Funware as a breakout. It's lost VWAP. Let's wait to see if it loses it on a closing basis or whether it's a quick wick and we curl back above. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Simultaneously, I also got stopped out of my position on WBA. This one broke the level off which I was basing my support. That 10 1/4 to 10 1/5 didn't hold. We printed something like 16s or 15s, and it's continuing to head down. Not going to look at this one. It's not setting up in the way that works with my system. The last line for this one is going to be that 10-10 VWAP. I don't have a lot of hope for that on WBA simply because last time we got into VWAP, we didn't hold it strictly either. So this was the breach of VWAP here on a three candle base, 10.05 to about 10.15. We curled right back above it. So it's marching to the beat of its own drum, or so it seems right now. WBA not really respecting these technical indicators. I did get some hints of that maybe it was using the 20 exponential, which is a yellow line on my chart last time on that dip, but I think I'm reaching a little bit for that one, so I'm going to need proof that this is going to hold up before I get in again. I'm not going to try to catch it off bottoms. Nor am I going to trade drug unless it calms down. At least we've got now 20 minutes or so of no halts. Last time around on drug, we did get a 10-minute halt. So usually they come in periods of 5. This one was a bit more prolonged. We ended up topped up into 17.12, then right back down into 11.50, all within, that 1 5-minute candle there. So awfully volatile. Haven't even looked at the Mag 7 and the large caps in general. We'll do that when we get back from Madeira at the green screen.
As we start that midday session, let's take a look at some of the larger movers percentage-wise on the S&P 500. I usually like to have a theme for this segment if I can. And today, because of all of this weakness in the market, especially in the NASDAQ, I thought it might be fun to look at positive names on the NYSE trading higher here today. So starting off, we have PNC Financial. This is, of course, part of larger bank strength after bank earnings. PNC reported this morning as well, beating here for earnings per share and sales, and also apparently here talking about their fee growth in addition to year-over-year revenue growth too. So PNC, great look, up more than 3% right now. Also, CCL pretty strong here, along with these other cruise names, specifically RCL and NCLH. CCL the strongest though across the board, up about 6% near days highs. This likely a sympathy play with oil moving to the downside. We know that these cruise lines and travel names have been reacting to oil prices. CCL in this case reacting pretty positively. Last but not least, we do have KR. This is Kroger. We know a lot of these retail names stronger than the rest of the market here, specifically, again, these NASDAQ names. KR looks like it's moving higher in sympathy with Albertson ACI, which posted their Q2 earnings. They beat across the board, and it is, of course, worth noting KR looking to acquire ACI, so good look for this name. Lots of names actually moving to the upside despite the weakness, especially in the NASDAQ today, guys.
Guys talking about DJT is trying to push to the high side. We're going to load that up in a hot second. It looks like a bit of a triple top. You know, we're not going to call that obviously, but we're going to have a look over here. Let's take off SoFi. That was yesterday's look. Donald John Trump on the NQ. What do we got? So I'm seeing 33 and a quarter, 33 and a third. High of the day is 33.85, and this is how I'm viewing it on the 5-minute. It's a bit of, you can see this. We've got these outlying crests and troughs with most of the price action taking place in between. Too much indecision in this name. Look, it's definitely not as directional as it was yesterday. So I'm not going to try to guess the ranges on DJT. If it wants to break out and give me a trend, and so I can follow it from a momentum perspective, I'm all eyes and ears. But until then, it's too rangy, and this is not the look we want on DJT. We want that direction, right? Getting it in or getting in off nice retracements on the way up, this, that, and the other. You guys get the vibe. So we're going to keep my eye on that. ASML is going to break the low of the day, though. Here we go. So this one's been SSR for a hot minute, 15 3/4 now. New low of day, 7:35 on the dot, and it popped up $5 in 1 second. I mean, Adara was looking at this one earlier, and she's like, dude, the spread can go from 1 penny to $1.10 in like that. So I'm going to stay away from this. It just popped into 735. Now it's almost at 745 as it popped into 742. So you guys get it. You got to be willing to have an awfully big risk appetite if you want to trade this, I think, with any discernible size, but it's got a double bottom. Let's see if it sets up. You're not going to see me jump into this unless you get a neckline break at around 780 on a decisive basis, but good look there off that 735. Now, I feel a little bit silly having been pushed out of Funware because it looks like it did hold VWAP, albeit you got wick breaches. I needed to account for that. However, we still don't have a new candle to make a new 5-minute high, so I'm going to pack my patience and see whether this one wants to start curling off that volume-weighted average price. Sure, it got a 2-candle hold up, but doesn't mean it can't breach it subsequent to that. WBA, I was waxing poetic about how I wouldn't take this off VWAP because of its propensity not to respect VWAP on the last little attempt there. Well, it's putting in a bit of a doge right now at VWAP, and on second look, $10 and VWAP are only separated by 8 pennies. So if this one wants to give a $10 level, the old hold there, and then maybe we can add a little bit more strength to that hold with VWAP. Fantastic. Again, it's going to have to curl off that level. I won't catch it on a dip trade. I've already lost on this one so far. So yeah, that's what's moving on right now. As you can see, I've got some non-small gapper names on my chart today. I'm talking about Rum, obviously. WBA is not a small cap gapper, nor is Wolf, nor is SOXS. That's what's moving. That's what's showing up on my scanner. SOXS, which is the what's it called? The ETF for the microchip semiconductor short. I'm just trying to see if it's double or triple levered. It's triple levered. Good look, man. This is a bull flag if I've ever seen one. And quite frankly, all the little dips there off the 5-minute candles have all found support at the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. So this is a good look, kind of compressing right now, a bit of a pennant as opposed to a flag, higher lows with lower highs. So we're going to pack our patience and see whether this one wants to take 20 on a decisive basis, bang, or what the situation is. But SOXS looking real good right here, Joe.
Yes, yes. The short is looking good. XOXL is not looking so good for me, unfortunately. But guys, what's looking really good here is Charles Schwab as it continues to the top side. I'm just reading some articles on this thing, and there's a reason why Charles Schwab is about 8 and almost 25%, right? Sorry, 8.25%. This thing is absolutely ripping, and this is something that you want to get into, right? This bank has been absolutely phenomenal, and apparently they're just going to create more revenue, and there's going to be even more revenue streams coming in for this company. So Charles Schwab is a really good look. Would have liked to have been in here around VWAP, but we're not going to chase it around up here or anything like that because it could pull back, and it is a NYSE asset too. So those things are a little bit more choppy. So guys, let me know what you're looking at. And also, I have a question for the chat. If anybody in the chat knows when IBIT is going to be optionable, please let me know because I'm looking forward to that totally because this thing is absolutely streaming to this top side, even though it's down about 0.75% right now. But it was trading higher earlier in the session, and it's looking to break these resistance levels. And when it does, I want to know if this asset is optionable because I will look to get into some contracts with that one for sure, guys. So let me know what you're looking at in the chat. I don't have my eyes on too much today, right? I'm just going to look at Charles Schwab, IBIT, and the overall market because that seems what seems to be hot, right? So we can take a look at Nvidia. It's still down about 4 3/10% of percentage. So we'll see. So we're going to see what's going on with that one. I mean, I don't know why everybody was rejecting Nvidia. It rejected the all-time highs pretty quick and ferociously as well too. So guys, keeping a lookout for Nvidia. I mean, I thought we were going to go for all-time highs. Me and the guys in the back were talking about it, and we thought we were going all-time highs this week, Sharif. But this absolute massive rejection here is not looking pretty for the asset. So, hey, who knows? This thing can start roaring at any given minute and then decide to make all-time highs. But as you can see, we're clearly chopping in around this area. I wouldn't say it's a definitive range or anything like that, but hey, it's still trending to the top side, but it's nothing that we really want to see. It's not as clean as some other assets, and there's a lot of chop going in around this. So maybe they're waiting for earnings, but that's not till next month. And then we look for some new price discovery on NVDA.
Yeah, which is interesting today too, because I heard this in the morning show, and Adair brought it to us again that the U.S. looking to expand some of the export bans specifically to the Middle East this time. There had been concerns that the Middle East would, or some of these Middle Eastern countries would export some of these advanced chips to China. Now, it's not even about that. Now they're just concerned about falling into the wrong hands the Middle East. So expanding some of those export controls. We know the Middle East have been buying these chips a lot, especially out of the Saudi Arabia, UAE, where there's a lot of money. And so I don't know what percentage that accounts for Nvidia's sales. I'm assuming it's probably not that much because usually the hyperscalers that are buying everything.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that Nvidia said China was about 20% of sales prior to the export control. So if I don't know by extension how much the Middle East would be, I think much smaller, personally. I
mean, was it earlier in the year or last year when they implemented the export kind of ban on it?
It was like late last year, right? Early something this year.
And I mean, the stock sold off after that, but then recovered quite nice. So, I mean, not much is going to damage this thing. Their chips are in demand, like there's no way around it. There's no beating around the bush with this one. What Nvidia has, everybody wants, and that's exactly why this company is doing this horse race with Apple to become the top market capitalization company. It took a little bit of a hit today. Well, Apple stayed strong, so maybe it gave it a little bit more of some leeway for that top spot. But like Sharif said, I think you had NVDA #1 in the. Remember, we had the top 3 finish, and did you go Nvidia, Apple?
Yeah, I think Nvidia probably finished ahead of Apple.
Yeah, so by the end of the year, so the clock is ticking. We'll call this an options contract. We only have a couple months left. So let's see if Sharif is right. We might have to wage something really large on this one and see what's going on. But Wayne's having fun in the back there, and that's good. Yeah, it's
always 11:30.
Yeah, always.
I'm not going to say why,
yeah,
but it's always 11:30.
11:30. We don't know why. I don't. Maybe you know something I don't. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm just looking at NVDA and IBIT. It's seeming to recover a little bit here. But what do you got going on there?
I'm still trying to hold WBA at VWAP over here. It's not doing much. So if we get stopped out, it's going to be an 8-penny loss. So I'm good with that. Now I'm loading Apple up on the screen, though, because we're going to start looking at the dead one, Apple. And it's certainly not dead today, but it's not time for me to enter either. What I'm seeing here is obviously the huge move up. We saw that, but we're seeing successively lower highs and lower lows. And now we're getting this kind of funky hold up at 235.60, 235.50. We're not putting anything that says to me, hey, look, we're curling up here. That's on the 1 minute. Now when we flip to the 5, I'm seeing kind of like these bottoming tail doji looking candles just south of VWAP, which means, like, to me, it feels like the selling, the aggressive selling has cooled off somewhat, but that doesn't mean the aggressive buying is going to come back in. At least maybe not yet, maybe even the more liquid time of the day. But right now, I'm not seeing what I want to see from anything, whether Apple or these small cap gappers. I'm not liking how anything is setting up. In fact, I'm kind of liking the short more on these Mag 7s. I'm just telling you personally how I feel. Looks like the NQ looking to maybe test those lows again. Nvidia can't seem to break above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It's straddling it, you know, without really making any newer highs. So I'm just trying to gauge where this market sentiment is going so I can execute on the trades. Right now, I'm telling you, I don't personally have a good read about what this market is doing. So I'm going to pack my patience, quite frankly. We'll see if my bias right now for the short is right or wrong, and I don't think it's going to take that long to find out. We're obviously negative on most of these Mag 7s. The only ones that are positive are Tesla, Google, and Apple. All the rest, whether Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Nvidia, they're all negative. Even Netflix is negative if you want to include that in some of the bigger caps. But yeah, that's it for me right now. I'm continuing to watch Funware. Funware's putting in higher lows. Okay, so Funware, look, I did one good trade on it, one poor trade. Now I'm looking at it, and it's obviously got a seller in the high 6s over here. But now that is 4 5-minute candles in a row with higher lows. The last 2 5-minute candles are kind of these bottoming tail candles. So Funware looks like it wants to move back up to me here. That's just my best estimation. So I'm going to try to weasel back into this trade, see if we can extract some profits off this bad boy, and come what may. Joe, what are you looking at over there, my man?
I'm just reading some questions here in the chat, and someone asked us, hey, should I get an AS out of ASML? And I think the answer to that one, no, all jokes aside, you definitely don't want to be in this right now, especially if it cracks. So this thing has been absolutely decimated on the day, down about 16%. So don't beg, hold this, cut your losses, accept them for what they are, and then just regroup, right? Just gather your thoughts again. Hopefully it's not a substantial loss, but just regroup. Gather your thoughts and be like, hey, what's the next step? What do I do? Bang. Right? So don't beg, hold this, because we truly don't know where it's going to go from here. So, and this is not good. Like, you don't want to see this type of strength in selling, and especially coming up. Like, if it decides to gap down, then there could be new price discovery to the south side, and that's something you don't want to be as a bull there, right? Because you don't want to be caught in those longs. But guys, TQQs and the Qs are starting to roll over a bit here, which is absolutely fantastic. So hopefully we can get a push back to VWAP, and that's exactly what we're looking for. I mean, we were talking about leverage derivatives and playing these leverage derivatives with a leverage derivative options. But I mean, hey, not something I would suggest, but if you really wanted to, then the look isn't horrible. I mean, the overall index is only down about 1% on this session. So that's not bad, and I think that this market can absolutely recover. So look for the recovery on the overall market, because that selling was absolutely heavy. And with that, there's usually an opposite reaction as well, too. So with every reaction is equal and opposite reaction. So there's something to look forward to there, and Bitcoin starting to recover a bit too. Now back positive on the day, which is solid and something that we really want to see. So hopefully, we get a strong recovery on Bitcoin and we start to continue higher, because I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. And yeah, I'm especially looking for that. So so hopefully that comes in. And yeah, the chips are weak. AMD's been absolutely decimated. I have a position in this as well, and unfortunately, it's not doing as well as I would like it to do, right? But again, we got some time on our contracts, so we're not gonna hit the panic button just yet on it, Sharif. But we do have a timeline, right? Because that's exactly what options are, right? So if it's not around where I want it to be at a certain day, and I know that they report at the end of the month on the 29th, I believe. So I don't know if I'm going to hold the position that long, or I should hold the position, because I want to see a little bit of a rebound here, especially because the MI 3350 chip, after that conference, after that conference, there's been no relative strength in the asset. So I don't know if they're grabbing some more liquidity, maybe selling the price a little bit, and then we get a really solid earnings report, Sharif, and head back to the top side, brother.
Well said, homie. Well said. All right, we're taking some profits there. Bang on Funware. Nice. What is that? 20 penny winner. Thank you, Joe. All right, we get back in. It started doing the old, getting it on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say. He's always talking about this, and I couldn't agree more with him. Have the stock prove to you, yes, I'm using this area as support. And let it show you some strength. I mean, you don't need to be first. You really don't need to be. There was a floor manager here. He's been gone for a hot minute. But what he said has always been tattooed in my mind. Participate, don't anticipate. And not everybody's cup of tea. Some people like to anticipate rather than participate. But when you're on a prop firm, we've got risk management that we need to account for. So a little bit of different thinking. They're loving the the 2 5-minute candle hold off VWAP. Then you get the mother of all bottoming tail in hammer candles. And then look what happens subsequent to that big boy green candle to make a new high. And big boy it was, because it closed right at the highs. And then there you go, you get a breach of 7. So we're going to zig and zag with this one. I'm very interested in adding back at the volume weighted average price on Funware. Where's that at? 650, 640, something in and around there. What's boring me to death is WBA. It's kind of doing the hold at VWAP. It's not a bad look right now if you're looking at building a position here. But look at this, 4 5-minute candles in a row, candles of indecisions, dojis. They are holding up at VWAP, but that's not the look that I want, quite frankly. And even though we are above a above a key indicator that I like to base trades off, I don't like the look of the jib of this 4 candle setup over here. And this is 20 minutes worth of price data. So I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, but I'm going to pack my patience because it's still holding above VWAP. This is not a good look. That's just my estimation. I could be absolutely wrong. My main man, Adam DeLuce, you are looking a much better trader recently. Thank you, Adam. I like to pretend I'm a better trader. Shout out to you, my man. Hope you are doing well and everything is good over there. And I don't know how you feel, bro, but I'm sick of these international injuries, bro. I've had it up to here with players getting, man, every month, September, October, November, there's international breaks in soccer, and every time these guys go away, Joe, to the international team, they come back busted.
Yeah, busted up, man. Hey, you want to play?
I've had it. People don't care about what I've said. I'm kidding. Of course, I got to vent out a little bit. We do have to send it to Adara at the big desk. What do you got, Adara?
We're going to give you our 11:40 earnings segment. If there's any names in this list you're looking at or any other tickers, make sure to vote for them right now in the chat. ! Join space $sign in your ticker of choice, because the top 5 tickers will be featured on our afternoon rundown at 2 p.m. and covered by Sean and Neil. You have until 1:50 p.m. to vote, so you have just over 2 hours. Also worth noting, before we get to this earnings segment, though, we have some comments coming in from Fed's Daily starting at 11:30 a.m. Fed's Daily saying that the monetary policy does remain restrictive. However, there could be some progress that is not necessarily assured with regards to the Fed goals. So progress not assured, though the monetary policy is, as of right now, still restrictive. Now, in terms of earnings names, we've had a lot of bank earnings talked about here. SCHW, No, Sharif here is involved in Walgreens Boots Alliance. I want to take a look at some of the earnings names we haven't talked about as much today. One of them is going to be UNH, United Health. This one of two very spready tickers who have reported earnings, the other one being ASML, overseas, quite a big earnings miss. As far as UNH goes, they actually beat estimates for both earnings per share and sales, though they did have slightly lower guidance than their prior guidance. So lower end still the same, $27.50 for the 2024 adjusted EPS. However, their higher end of that range used to be $28. Now it's $27.75 compared to the previous consensus here, or that consensus estimate of $27.70. Also worth noting here that on the level 2, UNH definitely having some interesting interactions with the $10 and $5 levels. So 560, 565, certainly interesting areas there for UNH. Johnson & Johnson also on watch here. This one trying to find a bit of support here, still up about 1.5%, though definitely removed from its highs of day. They did report here an earnings beat for EPS and sales, though they did have slightly lower guidance than their previous guidance for 2024 EPS, and their sales guidance actually above, to some extent, their previous guidance as well. So interesting look here for J&J. Again, increase in their sales guidance for 2024, decrease in their EPS guidance. Lots of earnings names on the docket. Tonight, we're looking for UAL, reporting at 4 p.m. Consensus estimate here of $3.10 per share. Revenue, $14.91 billion. Tomorrow morning, we'll get Morgan Stanley. Analysts are looking for this one here to report $1.57 per share here for earnings, and then revenue of $14.36 billion. Let's see if MS can follow its bank peers to the upside. Make sure to vote for your tickers of choice, guys.
Yeah, me and Joe looking at IBKR, but like, we better protect our money. The way they're reporting tonight. $65 billion market cap, Joe. Where'd that come from?
All the fees that I pay.
Same, homie, same. They're rinsing us. Not like real trading fees where there's almost none, no fees.
All the fees, they're getting us on the fees. Anyways, guys, IBKR is a great book. But anyways, listen, CrowdStrike, Elon mentioned this in the chat. And I wanted to mention this because Adara and Sharif were talking about CrowdStrike last week too. So I absolutely love this thing. I'm waiting for it to enter this gap as well too, Elon. So we're waiting for that to breach, and then we're going to look to continue because I absolutely like this company. It's a great company. So I mean, a little bit overdone on that event there that happened to them, unfortunately, and probably going to get sued. So. But hey, that's all right. We're going to look for this asset to rebound. So we're as soon as we re-enter this gap, Elon, we're back in it as well too. And Adam Dluce is saying, Joe, you're going to have to find a short. Hey man, I can't argue that at all because that's what seems to be working today, right? And you don't want to fight with what's working. So hey, we're just going to hold our horses and pack our patience on this session today a little bit here because if nothing's setting up, there's no need for me to get into anything, right? So. We're just going to sit here and wait, and if we find something that we like, then we're going to hop in. And, I mean, that might be Bitcoin because it's starting to trade, it's starting to recover pretty nicely over here, just trading under the volume-weighted average price. So for me, what I would want to see is this thing to start picking up a little bit momentum, even though I don't know if it will. It is kind of getting in the lunchtime hours. So it might be a little bit more of a slower grind, but if we can recover, I mean, you can call this a V-shaped bottom or tweezers, whatever you would like. But this is a really nice, solid recovery, and I think that we can continue to the top side. Justin Faber is saying MSTU. Let's take a look at MSTU. I mean, from a daily perspective, what are you looking at on it, Justin? Did it just IPO or something? It's looking like it did because there's only so many days on the session. And for me, there's not that much data, so I don't know how much data you can collect. I don't know necessarily what they do. It looks like it's an ETF. So... Oh, it's an MSTR, a MicroStrategy ETF. I would avoid this for now, but collect a little more data. And if you're looking to play the leverage, then you can play that. But we are off to Adara.
I was going to say here, yeah, the MSTU, this is actually a 2 times long MSTR ETF. I was just going to say in case anyone missed that, that is what MSTU is. Looks like these are fairly recent entrants. The earliest that I'm seeing them mentioned here are mid-September. So MSTU on watch here as a 2 times levered MSTR ETF.
Thank you very much, Adara. Yeah, I did see that on my scanner. I see a whole bunch of derivative products today on my scanner. Like you've got your, let's see, you've got SOXS, NVDQ, NVD, TBLA. These are NVDS. There's a whole bunch. These are all derivative products. So some of the major or the heavily moving Mag 7s. Some of them are obviously chips. I'm keeping an eye on Nvidia here, man, because it did reject the 10 exponential on the 5, and I feel awfully silly for not taking this. But it is too close to 130, so I always want to see what happens with 130 over here and how we do. We're long on Apple right now, and I'm waiting at wetting my beak at 25s. Let's see, there it is, Joe. Now we're nicely in the money on the dead one Apple. Let's see if we can print some more here in the mid-30s. We're long 9s, just took out the 30 print there, waiting for some more. I'm waiting in front of 40s over here on AAPL. It's the strongest of the bunch, and I won't be convinced otherwise. It's been putting in higher lows and higher highs while everything else is not doing that. Now, if there is a long to be had, and I'm not saying that you're going to get an excellent long on the day because it feels like a short kind of day. I feel it might be AAPL that gives you that print. So we'll see what we get. We won't get upset. I'd like to wet my beak here one more time to de-risk. This is a bit of a larger position for me, and I don't like taking large positions, as you know. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. The tight stop is through the break of 235.80, so we're going to have to pack our patience. There's a lot of downward pressure on even the stronger names today, given where the market's at. 1.1% negatory. We're at 20,400. Sorry, a correction. We're below 20,400 on the NQ December contract, and that's having an awful lot of downward pressure on some of these names here, Apple included. So we're packing our patience. It's zigging and zagging, but it's still holding up with that trend of higher lows and higher highs. But now I'm out of the money on the remaining amount. So now I have to basically be careful here and see exactly what happens. But nothing changes for me in terms of where my out is. It's still sound based on the price action. So packing my patience here with Apple up 2%, but knowing full well that the market in general is negatory right now, and that could have a corollary effect on the dead one Apple. So we'll have to pack our patience and see what we get there. Separately, I got stopped out for the second time on WBA. That is it, 0 for 2. It's not going to be 0 for 3. We're going to change this to something else, Joe. Meta or whatever. Yeah, I got rinsed on that. There's no question about it. I hate WBA and I won't trade it again. No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm just being bitter. What are you looking at, Joe?
I'm just over here in IBIT. We're in some IBIT here. We're going to see if we can break VWAP, and then we can continue to the top side. But before we talk more IBIT, we are off to Adara.
Pretty sharp move down here for TPR. This is Tapestry with a pretty large volume candle to boot to the downside. TPR, from what I'm seeing, moving here in sympathy with LVMH, which reported its earnings for Q3. They actually had a decrease in their fashion and leather organic sales by 5%, compared to an estimate of a positive 0.5% increase. So again, 5% decrease unexpected here for LVMH, sending TPR down to the downside in sympathy. TPR is, again, Tapestry. They own brands like Coach, Kate Spade, and Stuart Weitzman. So luxury brand move to the downside here. And it's also worth noting in terms of earnings from Europe, keep an eye still on ASML because we have comments coming from their CFO saying they expect their percentage of their China business as part of the total business to become more normalized and actually potentially reach 20% of their revenue coming into next year. It's worth noting as well with ASML, they actually had a pretty steep earnings miss here for their Q3 orders. So keep an eye on ASML and LVMH sympathy plays like TPR here, guys.
Hey, that Darrow, keep an eye on. Certainly, it's ASML. I don't know about you, but it's on my side chart today, even though I'm likely not going to touch it because it's quite expensive and it's awfully spready, Joe. So
yeah, so I'm avoiding that one today totally. But we got some great questions in the chat. The first one I'm going to answer is from Tim Rogers. What scanner do you utilize for finding iron condors? Tim, there's no specific scanner that I use, but what I do have is I have a list of stocks or underlying assets, and I will scroll through those dailies. So what I essentially did was I created a list of each top individual in each sector from the sector ETFs. I took the top 4 holdings from each one, and then I also looked at the largest market capitalizations, and I just combine them and I create a list. And then what I do is I scroll through them and I look for what's consolidating and what's not if I'm looking to create an iron condor. So there is no specific scanner like a high volume scanner or a gap up or a gap down scanner. It's just solely through looking through the technicals on each individual stock, and that's how I pick which asset I want to create an iron condor with. All right, so hopefully that answered your question, Tim Rogers. And then we have AP Trader. Joseph, what kind of strategy is good in options trading for result play, credit spread or debit spread. I'm afraid of a credit spread because if result move go against position, it can be damage big. How to manage? Okay, I'm not really quite understanding your question, but depending on what you're employing. So if you're extremely bullish on an asset, then you can create a debit spread, right? But just be wary that when you create a debit spread, time is now working against you and you have to pay for that initially. And yes, I see where you're getting at from a risk standpoint, but when you create a credit spread, that's why you buy that protective call or put, and that allows you to mitigate those losses. Don't be too afraid of them, right? You still want to be able to put on trades and just understand the risks that come with them, right? Sure, there's some, the market's not always rational, right, Sharif? Like, no, so every day it's not going to be rational, but as long as you have your stops in place and you have mitigation risk measures in place, then you should be okay, right? But just mind you, with options, you are still susceptible to pre and post market action. But again, if you have those stops in place, you're selling far out the money credit spreads, or you're selling at the money debit spreads, you should be okay on that front, all right? So hopefully that answered your question. Those are great questions, and guys, keep asking them away. Can you set stop loss and take profits on options? Absolutely. Go through your broker, go and just scroll through all the types of orders that you can place. Without a doubt, you can set both of those targets. You can set stop loss orders. When we did our previous lesson, when I did the credit spread lesson, we touched on how to set those orders. And same with profit targets, the exact same thing. So if you're looking to do a profit target, then you can just set the value of the contract in which you're looking to take profit. So if you paid $2 for that contract and you're looking to take profit when that contract comes to a value of $2.50, absolutely you can do that. So those are good looks and absolutely great questions, guys. You know I love the options contract. I get long in the tooth or tongue, however the saying goes, when we start talking options. So I have fun with them, man. I love them. I think they're such a cool derivative, and I love how you can manipulate them. Like, it's such a cool way and diverse way to look at the market. The boys and I were talking about them last night, and it just gives you another view, Sharif, of how the market moves and just the ability to look at open interest on the options chain and all those types of things. But what do you got going on there, brother?
I got stopped out of Apple for the remaining amount, so we're going to look to do a VWAP entry here if it wants to respect VWAP. So I was kind of looking at a support and resistance flip. So 235.60 was a bit of a top there. Let's see if this wants to act as a bottom. This is albeit on the 1 minute, so I don't want to execute basing my trades on the charting on the 1 minute, but it's sound also on the 5, but you're getting a breach of that level right now on a wick basis. Does it hold up? It's a VWAP for me here on Apple. Let's see if it wants to hold up there at the volume weighted average price. I don't want to go long, man. I don't want to go long because the market keeps making lows. So that's the thing. I think I'm going to pack my patience on this trade. I don't have to execute right away. I already got stopped out. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one and see what it sets up for. Not seeing a whole lot here. Oh, I am now. HIMS. Whoa. Okay. Sorry to whoever mentioned this to me earlier. I should have been quicker to cover it. I know you guys were talking about this one moving up pretty nice. It's up 4.2% today. So shout out to all my 420 lovers over there. Good look for it right now. The closing print yesterday was around 2050. Now we're knocking the door of almost 21.5. It's not the biggest percentage gainer on the day, nor does it have that much volume, about 5.75 million shares. But as you can see, it's been quite directional. And since printing this 1045 candle, it hasn't had a touch at the 10 exponential. So it's been very strong. How to enter on here then if it doesn't touch the 10 exponential?
Do the HIMS get to you there or what?
I know. I might need a day off.
Yeah.
No, I've got no more sick days, so we're gonna have to deal with that.
We use those up. We use those up.
Yeah, no, I know. I was told. 2144 HOD on this bad boy over here. Like, what I'd like to see, does it hold up relative to the previous candle's low. And that's what you're seeing. For the exception of this candle over here, this 2-candle pattern, it has. And so, I don't know. I don't know how to weasel into this one, especially if it doesn't give me a deeper retracement. Good luck for it, though. Let's see exactly what the wider time frame on this bad boy looks like. Let's flip to the 15 over here. All right. So it's been, yeah, it's been pretty directional. You have your odd day here and there. It's dropping down. Let's go a little bit wider. The daily. Okay, so now we're coming into an interesting level of resistance at this $22 to 22 and a quarter. So we're at almost 21.50 now. Realistically, we could see 22 today, just given the fact that we keep rejecting. You have a 4-candle rejection back from July 29th to August 1st. We kept weaseling into 20 only to give it up. So now we're kind of rounded bottoming over here, kind of trying to reclaim that level. Good look for him, man, but it's going to have to set up for me in the right way. Otherwise, you know, Joe, I just can't punch in at highs. It's just not my move. So we'll continue to pack our patience and see what we get there. The dead one apple, though, good thing I got stopped out of that one because that would have been a bigger loser for me. Weaseled down all the way to 235 in a third, Joe.
I mean, the market's still absolutely bleeding. Adam, ADL, our buddy from the UK, asked me if I'm still in the trade. Adam, yes, I am, and it is absolutely leaking. So good luck on finding the shorts there, brother. Much appreciated. We're holding on to that one, so shout out to ADL. And Tim Rogers, hey, man, honestly, when you're going to set up an iron condor, don't force it. The setup is either going to be there or it's not, right? So when you're looking to set up an iron condor, you want to see strict consolidation, all right? So don't force it. Go just with a bull put spread, and then we'll talk more options. But first, we're off to Adara.
Great look here for OKLO. This one up almost 14%. It's CEO speaking right now on CNBC with regards to the company's outlook and more generally the outlook for nuclear energy. We know nuclear's been on watch as of right now. Google getting involved here in a nuclear play. So OKLO certainly on watch with regards to its own specific catalyst and the overall story in its sector. It's worth noting as well, we have about a 12.4% short float for OKLO. And additionally, if you're looking at the move in the overall market, we do still have comments coming from Feds Daily, including the fact that the 3% rate, quote, may be around neutral. So Feds Daily saying that 3% might be around the neutral rate as of right now. Keep an eye on the market as a whole as we continue to digest those Fed comments, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. A new small cap gapper has emerged onto the scene. NIVF, you guys probably already know about it, but I just got eyes on it now. Another triple-digit winner, Fabian. 125% was up higher at the highs, $1.87 HOD, printing 173 right now. But look at this drop and then repop. Try to break into the highs, but this could be setting up for a skewed double top where it can't reclaim the highs. Not going to guess. Let's let it manifest and see what kind of trade we can have off this one. Possibly something into 2. What is the look of this one? So it is a former runner, and you can just see that clearly by looking at the daily chart over here. It has these outlying days. It's been able to reclaim the 50, it looks like, on a closing basis in the last little while. 10.10 was it when it claimed the 50 on a closing basis. And the reason I even mentioned the 50 reject, 50 reject, 50 reject. You see where I'm going with this? So finally able to reclaim it. In addition to that, it's above $1 now. So it's trying to use the, possibly the dollar as support. It had trouble holding on to that dollar print on the days leading up into this big day today. So NIVF, big boy move, but still off the highs. Nice curl there off what looks to be the 10 exponential. And I hate when this ends up being the case. When the volume weighted average price is above the 10 exponential, it sets up for a bit of an anomaly in terms of how I trade these things. Usually the 10 exponential is above VWAP. In this case, it is not. That's how quickly this one ascended. So let's keep an eye on this one. I'm not going to base anything on VWAP just for the reasons that I mentioned, but this $1.33 has all sorts of support. Look at this 3-candle setup where everything $1.30 and over or below, got bought up. So I'm all eyes there. Let's see what NIVF brings. HIMS continues to go, guys. 21.58. I think this one's headed to 22. It's got resistance at 22. So we're going to pack our patience and see if we can weasel something into this trade. Joe.
Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments in the chat. Guys, Upstart. Whoever pointed Upstart out,
yesterday.
Wow. Our guy Danny gave the upgrade, or put the rating to neutral and raised the price target to $45. And not only did it surpass $45, it's significantly higher, up about 2%. This thing's up about 2% of the day. We're gonna head off to Adara and then Neil on less of the day.
Okay.
Bang.
So much weakness in this market today. S&P 500 faring slightly better right now than the Qs, but it's worth noting keeping an eye on the overall market as we do have comments coming through here from Fed speakers. Fed's cooler coming through in about an hour at 1:05 p.m. Eastern, but Fed's daily currently began speaking at 11:30, saying amongst other things that she's, quote, cautiously optimistic about the economic outlook and saying that as of right now, Fed has been able to lower inflation without any major disruptions, though there is not any continuous assurance that there will be more progress on Fed goals. So these Fed goals are not assured, though the monetary policy is currently working to lower inflation. Fed's daily also noted that there could be 3% could potentially be the neutral rate here. So keep an eye on the market as we continue to digest Fed comments. Oil pretty weak here, and we also have lots of weakness in chips and a lot of these European names. We have two pretty big European earnings reports to digest. One of them is going to come here from ASML. Currently near low of days here around 7:30, traded as high as 870 earlier here today. Reported a miss here for bookings for Q3 and also lower than expected 2025 net sales forecast. We also have here TPER, this is Tapestry, trading lower in sympathy with LVMH, both of which are owners of luxury brands. Basically, LVMH missing revenue estimates, having a unexpected decrease in organic revenue and fashion leather goods revenue, as well as organic revenue for fashion. So decreases across the board here for LVMH, sending TPR initially to the downside, but certainly still some volatility in this name. It's also worth noting CRM and TSLA on watch, seeing some circulation here on X of speculation that CRM could potentially be using Tesla's robotaxi, though it's worth noting, A, this is speculation, and B, it's coming from a pretty significant Tesla bull, Herbert Ong. So no confirmation there, but CRM and TSLA and watch with a potential robotaxi collaboration. If you're looking at these or any other tickers, make sure to get in the chat and vote, !join, space, $, and your ticker of choice. You have until 1:50 p.m. to do so for that rundown at 2 p.m. With that, we'll actually have Neil look at his lesson of the day.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button. Lesson of the day coming at you, and if you're surprised by the fact that it's going to be about the chips, well, then you haven't been watching the market today. Because every now and then you're cruising along, you have your trade plan, stocks are moving as they're doing their thing, you've developed a trend in some, you've developed a trend in the other direction in others, maybe some sectors are weak or strong, and then ASML happens. And everything gets flipped on its head, and you want to be able to react quickly. Now, obviously, I'm going to show you Nvidia. We'll start with Nvidia. This was already going to the downside. Failed to break out, lower high, fell apart. But, you know, there's before and after. Obviously, ASML flat bottom broke here when there was that guide. Clearly, everything changed in all of the chips once this happened. Because whatever trend you're working with or whatever trade you're working with, even right or wrong, you could have been in the money with this. Maybe you were already short the chips. Everything changes when ASML loses 860 and then drops about $120 in a matter of minutes here. It's a 3-minute chart. Essentially, you had about 10 to 15 minutes of absolute and abject panic. There was a halt at one point over in Amsterdam where this traded specifically. And what do? So obviously, if you're already in a short, you're probably thinking about, okay, you can't really lose on that trade. That flush here happens at about 10:27. So really, you're already at lows when Nvidia is going. So if you're short this, you're just thinking about taking profits. What I like to do is divvy it up, before and after. So if 10:27 is before, and we have that bottoming tail candle at about 10:39 or so, then 10:45, another confirmation. Those are the time frames you want to work off of. If you're short, forget about all this. Start working with this is the move to the downside here. And if you're short from there, you want to get out if this one reverts, or just adjust your plan of action if you were looking at re-entry points. This becomes a key price level because this is when ASML died. Whatever you're working with over here doesn't matter. This is when ASML died, so you want to work off 133 for a potential resistance. Now, if you're not in a short trade and you're looking for a mean reversion, which on news, oftentimes, if you're not in it very fast to the downside, that's what you want. Well, I'm going to pull back up this chart and full screen it of ASML. You don't have to be a chartered market technician to see what this wick is. That is a clear bottoming tail candle, then a tight consolidation, and then confirmation at 1045. Notice how I said 1045 before? So that's your bottoming tail candle. There's your we're not going to lose. And then we're going to break back out at about 1045, and you have a slight upward trend. So if you liked the bounce play, you got confirmation about 1045. Now on Nvidia, I don't like this entry point. This is what you're getting on Nvidia. It's already bounced $3 and it's very close. You're now only $3 or $2 away from that high. You've already bounced $3 off of the lows. Doesn't really set up all that well. The name that I went to is because I found some confluence in it. So this is when everything fell apart on Intel. Again, I was already short. There's not much you can do. I was getting out on the bid. As a matter of fact, I had an accidental long that we got out of right away. I was on the bid at 23 regardless, so it just took me out of my short position. But then look at the new trend line that forms. So there's the confluence, bottoming tail candle. This is 1045. I was already in this on a mean reversion trade. So you have the trend down, there is your trend break, closing above the trend line, and then here, 1045, that's when ASML confirmed the reversion and a couple of green candles off that bottoming tail. That's the confirmation. Same support level. Better price. Play back into 23. Where was this when everything started? 23 support. So 23 resistance. Clean entry, you're in it one time. Now, because of the confirmation on ASML, I'm able to add to the position because it gave it confluence, but the entry is here to here, tight stop, and then you play it to the 23 level. The thing about reacting to news is you still want to make a trade. Ultimately, like, don't get me wrong, ultimately, any long that you had down here, I mean, you could have started the long here, and it still would have worked out in the end. It doesn't make a difference, it's going to bounce, but you still want to make a trade, and a trade means reason to get in, where I'm out if I'm wrong, and then ideally some targets that it can get to. AMD, I think, gave you a pretty clean move as well, because if you look at the flush here, this is actually the wick where there was a rejection on ASML, and AMD actually initially bounced off of that. You didn't see that in any of the other chips. When ASML lost the bid, AMD initially bounced and then flushed. But it did give you the trend line reversal. So you have this steep trend when it started to join the party. You then have the close above it. This is, again, 1045. When did ASML make that bottoming wick? There's the bottoming wick. There is the hold higher. There is the confirmation of strength. That is your entry point here at 45. You don't need to be in there. You can be in on the other side of the trade. Has room to get to the prior resistance. And now remember, where were the sellers when all of this started? Selling on AMD, 159. So your profit target is going to be out before it gets to that. Like any other news event, get out before it gets back to that original price area where it sold off. So it's just a patient entry. And again, everyone can do whatever they want, but there is a reason why I look at that AMD and I look at the Intel risk to reward, as opposed to, like, say, an Nvidia, which by the time ASML had confirmed a bottom, you were all the way up here on Nvidia. So you basically had to front run Nvidia before ASML bounced to be able to get that move. Now, it worked out, no questions asked. The other side of it is maybe you just took it on the bottoming tail candle right in here on Nvidia on its own. Now, if you're trading it on its own merits, then suddenly 130 becomes your key price level, and it was just a pure Nvidia trade. But you've got to decide what it is that you're doing. Are you just going to go in and trade the stock based on its own levels, in which case maybe you get that bottoming tail here, just trade your Nvidia? Or are you going to use the new catalyst ASML as your guide and simply take trades when it confirmed it? Because AMD and Intel and probably a couple others that I didn't even look at, you could have waited for ASML to confirm the bounce and then get into the long with a relatively tight stop that allowed you to play the move without the same level of risk and with a little bit more confluence. Obviously, congratulations if you happen to be short when anything like that goes on, but they were all trending down before this news. Nvidia had failed a high and was trending to the downside, so they were already in pretty deep. AMD was already trending to the downside. The chips were already weak when this happened, so a reversion trade did have some juice to it, given how far we had already come down. but you don't have to just take it blindly. Just because crazy things are happening in the market or on an individual stock, like ASML down 15, 16%, you don't have to start trading crazy. You can still find yourself a setup with an entry procedure that allows you to have my reason for getting in, my confirmation, my out if I'm wrong, and some actual price targets, and do it relatively quickly because you know what it is that you're looking for. So lesson of the day, you don't have to go nuts just because something in the market is broken. What you can do is quickly develop a plan. You had a few minutes while this was making that bottom, and ASML, that bottom took about 9 minutes to confirm. That's plenty of time to have an execution plan. You don't have to just throw trades out into the wind and hope that they work. That's your lesson of the day. React to the news, but come up with a solid plan of action in the moment. You've got more time than you think.
Very much, Neil. Eloquent, informative, and awesome as always. Gold, as Joe likes to say. Good look there. Thank you again, Neil. All right, Joe and I were just talking off camera about the state of the market right now. We'll talk specifically the Future and the Mag 7. Looks like we're kind of in recovery mode, Joe.
Recovery mode. We're starting
Things
to pull
popping
back.
up a little bit.
Pull back. Someone, and you know what, Truth? Someone mentioned something really, really good in the chat.
Sure.
A call wall at 580. On the SPY, right? So if those orders aren't going to get filled, then they're going to it's going to bounce, right? So in order for the market to continue to push down, at those orders, you need another side of the party, right? So that's another reason why we could be bouncing here. So that's a really good look. And something like Bookmap is something that can identify that, the heat map of it, right? So guys, we're going to talk more stock, but after we're off to Adara. First, we're off to Adara.
More European earnings news on watch here. Keep an eye on NKE and LULU. Names like Nike and Lululemon could be on watch because Adidas apparently reporting, quote, better than expected Q3 results. So keep an eye on some of these sympathy plays trading in the U.S. like Nike and Lululemon. Now, ASML also on watch here. Apparently, the company announcing that there was a technical error that led to information on the results being, quote, erroneously published earlier on part of their website. So not sure the complete status of this, but again, company announcing that there was a technical error that led to the early publishing of their Q3 results. I will let you guys know if I hear any more information on this headline, but ASML still down more than 16%, guys.
I don't even know. We can look at trade ideas. Yeah, I saw, thank you for that. Adara saw the OG Darwin and some others saying that as well in the chat, that was kind of a fat-fingered mistake. Let's just call it that. We're publishing when they weren't supposed to publish. Someone's going to get in trouble. Maybe someone's going to lose their job. We're going to have to wait and see. But
well, I would think so. When you drop 15% like that, there's someone probably getting walked out as we speak. So unfortunately,
and there it is, the fat finger right there, Joe. In case, because we're always dropping trading lingo around here, but we always have newer traders. So the Chilean Nightmare, being the excellent producer that he is, or director that he is, always has things ready. So we're gonna shout him out. There, he's so modest. He's so modest. Shout out to Fabian, man.
Humble pie.
All right, I'm trying a short
like
here on the Zon. We got into the 20 exponential moving average, and we had shown a propensity to reject it before. On the 5, that's what I'm looking at here, and so I took it short. We're going to give this one the old college try. Short the pops, knowing full well that there's a bit of a higher low situation over here. We're going to keep an eye on the market. Obviously, not going to give this one that much room in terms of a stop placement, but I got to tell you, I don't have the best read today, whether on the Mag 7 or some of these small cap gappers, just not setting up the way that I want. So I'm going to look for more A+ setups rather than trying to take, some of these A-, B+ setups or whatever, B setups, and try to execute like that, because I don't know, man, it's just not jiving with me today with respect to the entries and the exits. So we're going to try to slow down here with respect to the executions. You got something a little bit better. What are you looking at, Joe?
Hey, brother, I'm just, we're all out of TQQ here. We're not going to let this winner turn into a loser, so shout out to our buddy ADL over in the UK here for that luck. He said find something to short, so we did that. But now we're in IBIT. You know what? I don't have the entry that I want. I would have liked to got about 37.60s and then the move up, but I'm still gonna hold on to this. Shout out to my boy Greg V. We've been talking on Discord and everything, and that guy's been printing it up an absolute storm the past couple of months. So shout out to him. He's been in the game for a while, guys. So he's an absolute solid trader. So bang, bang, bang. He's been killing it. So shout out to Greg, man. Appreciate you for everything that you do. Solid trader. And guys, Bitcoin is absolutely recovering here. We're almost up 1% here, about 3/4. And we're recovering, and I expected that. I want a big response from Bitcoin, and I want us to break these levels because I want this thing to start roaring. Absolutely, and I think a lot of people do too. So we're looking forward to that. We're not going to take some off the top yet. Just yet. We want this to continue because my RBR isn't completely there. Because I was a little late on my entry, I need to give this a little bit more room to run. So guys, that's why it's really clutch and key that precision in your entries is gonna help your risk to reward, all right? So don't chase things where now you need the asset to move significantly higher in order for you to hit that 2-to-1 or that 3-to-1 on the trade, all right? So unfortunately, I gotta hold this a little bit longer, but I mean, it can start trading higher, and I hope that it does. I mean, the market's bouncing back. It seems like it wants to bounce back. Apple's still holding around VWAP, still up about 1.8% on the day, and it's holding strong compared to the overall market. So that's good to see that Apple made all-time highs today, right? Yeah, so
Close, real close.
Right?
Actually, I think you might be
did.
right,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah, not bad.
It touched it.
I got 237.23 on the 15th of July, and today I got 237.30.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
Right.
7 cents. A whopping 7 cents. Hey, we'll take it.
It is what it is.
The SPY was making new highs and everything, so we'll absolutely take it with Apple. Danny Ives says the super cycle is coming in. There's going to be a lot of new people looking to get the iPhone 16. I think I might be looking to get the iPhone 16 as well, too. So it's about time. We're just waiting for this company to continue to the top side. So good luck there on Apple, guys. Continue where the strength is and don't fight it, even though it is starting to pull back a little bit now. Pretty heavy. Maybe look for the continuation. It is up pretty good on the day, and it's kind of rejecting the all-time highs now, maybe a little bit. So maybe just wait. Don't rush things. We are in the lunchtime hour, so things do grind a little bit slower and take a little bit longer to get moving. But again, at 2 o'clock, a buy program can come in at any minute, brother. What do you think?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Apple just took a nice little dump there into 235, right into the 10 exponential. I'm going to go long. Let's see here. We're going to go like this and then basically protect ourselves like that. So we're going to give it a little bit of room on this one. 50 exponential moving average on Apple, and also 235. Going to give this a little bit of room right now to see if it wants to bounce back up. Maybe we can scalp this a skosh. So we're going to pack our patience on this bad boy, knowing that Apple's volatile on the day. I don't know about this. Hey, what's up, Neil? Oh, I thought you were talking to me. He's talking to Andre. Shout out to Andre. Yes, so I'm going to keep my eye on this one. It is breaking 235 right now, so it's going to have to hold up above that 80 penny area. Otherwise, I want no smoke. Apple dipping down now below 235. Let's have a look at Amazon as well. I'm trying to get more short into the 88s over here. It's not printing me. Packing my patience on this one, seeing if we can get printed. There seems to be a seller at 80. There we go. Now we're locked in. The stop's already in place, so this one's going to have to manifest. We'll see what we get on this one. So dealing with 2 trades right now. AAPL at around $235, and the 50 exponential moving average going to have to hold up generally in this area. Otherwise, we're going to get out of it. And we're short Amazon at the same time. But this one is breaching the 20 for the first time today. And I was looking at some of the others, like Microsoft, for example, had a nice rejection off the 20 exponential. Kind of the same setup as Amazon, but this one is continuing and this one is not. So we're going to get stopped out of Amazon there. That sucks to be me. Yeah, that's not a good look. I added into that one. So a good look on Apple, not a good look on Amazon. I was able to print there on Apple. We'll see if this one can continue, possibly a little bit higher, maybe into that $0.50 area on AAPL, but a nice 235. Defend wrong idea on Amazon. I'll look to execute again, possibly at 186.50 on AMZN. That's where the volume weighted average price is, at least on my 5-minute chart right now. Yeah, give or take. Low, I would say mid-40s, around mid-40s. So, hey, it is what it is, and we'll look to do a little bit better. What are you looking at, Joe?
Hey, I'm looking over here at BA because I've actually heard a lot of chatter in the chat about BA and Iron Condor. Guys, I'm just going to be totally frank with you. This is not something I would particularly set up for an Iron Condor, but maybe just a bull put spread, right? Because we don't know if this thing continues to squeeze to the top side, then that one side of your leg is going to get stopped out. Look for something that's consolidating more. right? Something that's moving more sideways opposed to a definitive direction to set up an iron condor. I would look to set up a bull put spread, and the more that I talk about it, the more I might potentially like this asset for a bull put. So guys, I wouldn't be setting a condor unless it's up above 160 or something like that, right? This thing has been absolutely decimated. So, hey. Anyways, yeah, so we're just looking here, set this up, maybe not condor that, but look for a bull put spread, because you can definitely credit spread that stuff, guys. So continue to throw those options trades in the chat. I love it when you guys have those. Guys, as you can see, we're still here long in IBIT. We took some off the top. We kind of rejected this 37, just under 38 level. So I might take a little bit more off here, more that I think about it. Just because, but it's starting to move higher, so we're getting some good feels on that. It took us 2 entries to get this trade moving. We were 0 for 1 on it, and then I said, hey, when it came back towards VWAP with conviction after this massive selling, which might have been overdone, it made a little bit of an exaggeration there, Sharif, possibly. So, and now it's recovering nicely, starting to crawl back towards the highs, and I'm looking for this thing to potentially punch. Like, continue to move to the top side and punch this high. I want this thing to make a new high on the day. Is it going to happen? We don't know, but there's definitely potential that absolutely happens. So someone's telling us to look at WBA, Sharif.
Oh, no.
So
it's holding.
Sharif, it's holding. Sharif doesn't want to talk about WBA today.
No.
But I mean, the stock, I said before, has been beaten to an absolute pulp. I'm not American, so I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure it's just kind of like a shopper, like they call it the shoppers over there.
It's like a ghetto shoppers.
Is it, yeah?
It's like I've been into. I can't tell you how much. Yeah. For anybody who knows, I've been like you expect like the American chains to be a lot nicer than the Canadian chains, but it just shoppers blows them out of the water. And I've been to a bunch in different cities, like Chicago. I've been to Miami and LA. All of them, they're all bad, Joe.
Okay.
They're all bad.
Right,
CVS included.
So there we go. We got the analyst rating from Sharif there. It totally reflects the price of the stock, right? So I don't know if that's something that you want to own for the long term. It's not something that I would want to own for the long term. But something that I do would like, and I was talking about it earlier, is Boeing. Like, and I talk about this. I feel like I talk about it a lot. The stock is decimated, and I just don't know why. My buddy Greg B would know. He said it's tough with the regulators, right? So. Okay, Mayday. I'm getting a Mayday. So something might be crashing. We don't know. It's not. It's the market. That's what. Okay, I get
WBA.
It. A little slow on. No, we said BA is doing Mayday.
BA is doing
get it to Mayday. Mayday.
Let's find out.
Mayday in the stock. No, it's actually trading higher today, but he's saying Mayday because it's been absolutely bright. So we're a little bit slow to the catch today, us two. So don't worry about us, guys. We're having fun.
Yes, sir.
We're having fun with that. So. The Canadians, Trader Rob says, yes.
Hello, Canadians, yeah.
So that's
hey, man,
what we got going on.
You can tease us all you want, but hey, facts are facts, man. Going into a Walls Boots Alliance or Walgreens or whatever you want to call it in the States is kind of like going into a Shoppers Drug Mart, but like 30 years ago. That's kind of what it feels like. It's a little bit dated, but I think they spend their money on other things. I know they were really aggressively expanding into the clinics. They want to do direct health care for the aging boomer population, so they'd have healthcare practitioners head to your house and stuff like that. They do a lot of nursing home, seniors retirement home stuff. So they try to diversify. Some stuff works, some doesn't. Only reason I know about this because my family's in this business. Otherwise, I'd really not be interested in it. But yeah, it's a good look. It's just not Shoppers Drug Mart. Anyway, guys. Everything's a short to pop kind of situation. That is, of course, unless it's Amazon, because I got stopped out of that one. This one's continuing to show me some weakness south of that volume weighted average price. And this is what is kind of bamboozling me here because I don't have.
Bro, sorry.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. I don't get upset anymore, man. It's just it's a next trade and you just move on. You don't even think about it. 186 and 25. I mean, I don't have anything there that would tell me, yeah, this good look. Get short at 186.25. There's nothing holding up on the way down. There's nothing in the pre-market. So, you know, sometimes you just don't have a read, and maybe the algos are just trading it in a way that you don't understand on that day. And I think that that's where I fall into on the day. So I'm just going to pack my patience, and if anything sets up a little bit better, we'll get in. But right now, it's just not been a trade mag 7-day. And quite frankly, though, sadly, usually I got one thing going, and if the other doesn't hold up, but I can't for the life of me eke out a win on these small cap gappers either. They're not continuing in the way they typically do. Have a look at drug, you know, breaking down well below now the 10 exponential, well below that $17, $12 area. Fun, kind of the same thing, $8 look, very similar setup to these two charts over here, although they're not running in sympathy to one another. I'm talking about Funware and DRUG. You know, good look on the day, but executing on them has been a bit of a bamboozler, at least for me. SOXS, obviously the triple levered inverse ETF for the chips, and it's been respecting the 10, but it's not giving you much in the way of a notional move. WBA, I got stopped out to no end because it doesn't respect VWAP. So I'm trying to eke out some trades over here, and it looks like the only one that's really directional and not bamboozling you is HIMS. And this screams a buy program to me here, especially when you see this amount of uninterrupted greenery on the 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and we're working on our 14th 5-minute green candle in a row. I did, you know, do some wider time frame charting, especially on the daily. It looks as if there is resistance in and around 22. There's no exact level. All these topping tail candles from late July, early August kind of hint at that. But that's it, man. I mean, I don't have a trade today that I really like, so I'm just going to stay here, pack my patience, and set up for the lesson. What are you looking at, Joe?
Hey, I'm still looking over here at TQs, guys. I've only had 2 entries here on the day. This was 3 entries here on the TQs, right? So we had this one, then we got stopped out break even. We got the majority of our position off there. We only had a small bit there, which was really nice, but we left that for a runner. So that was that trade there on the TQs. And then now I'm still sitting here in IBIT, and we're getting the moves that we want here. It took us 2 entries on this one. We got stopped out there, good stop out there, and that's exactly why we take that second entry there, guys. And it turned to work out, right? So, you know, I always like to take that, stick to the thesis, try it a couple times. If it doesn't work, then look for something else. And that's exactly what we did here with IBIT. So it's working out really nicely here. Let's see if the overall market, I mean, Apple's starting to sell here now, and the Qs are starting to move sideways. So guys, when you see this sideways movement, then that's when you get the go-ahead yes from me on the Iron Condor plays. Absolutely look into those. But again, a recovery down about 1.1% on the day. So you could get that topside move, or if the market decides to head a little lower. But again, I don't know if anything really justifies this type of selling, especially in NVDA and AMD, which AMD, Nick W, yes, is absolutely breaking my heart to the fullest. It's just not something I would suggest for a swing right now. There's some risk mitigation measures that I have to implement now in order to kind of cut back these losses and hopefully hold on to this contract to where it becomes profitable. So I will be looking to sell some calls against the position that I have because I am long some calls, and then hopefully collect some premiums on that because I know when we had that big event, the volatility increased. So I will get some half decent premiums on those, which I really, really need. So we'll definitely look into that. But as of right now, Nick W, just hold on to it for a little bit, wait for the asset to actually turn around. And they do report on the 29th, I believe. So just be wary of that and maybe wait for that report to come out because I think there's going to be a lot of hype up on this AMD report to the fullest. So, I mean, taking over the PS5, we were talking about that before. Oh, yeah. And then I'm not too sure when the MI350 comes out and stuff like that. So demand is there. And you know what? I didn't know Ryzen was AMD, and I have a Ryzen 5.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I did know that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's that's the CPU on your laptop, right?
No, on my desktop.
Desktop. My bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that taking over at Intel. I don't think anybody's buying i5s or i7s anymore because.
No, can I tell you something, dude? Like, I got an AMD laptop back, like, I don't know, like 2015, 2014, and it was just hot garbage.
Yeah.
The new CPUs that are being dropped by AMD are legitimately competing with
Yeah, well, I mean, like, they're the #1 gaming computer right now, right? So I don't think anybody wants anything else. So those guys, they're doing what they're doing. So they're we said this before. I think they're going to be number 2 in the chip race, and I don't think there's any question about that, right? Especially because they're getting the new PS6 deal, and they have the Ryzen chips, right? So those guys are, and they're lagging. We've mentioned this before. I'm going to pull up the daily chart on AMD, and they're absolutely, and I don't really want to, but we're going to anyways. But guys, it's still absolutely decimated from the all-time highs, right? Like, we're still down a significant amount here. Now 30% off the all-time highs. It's absolutely lagging its peers. So I don't know if it's going to recover, but as we were mentioning, there's some good things behind it that can help it recover, and we expect it to do so, right? Because I don't think it's going to go down much further than this, what it's currently at, but it can. So I could be totally wrong on the asset, but just be wary of it because it's not a horrible company, and maybe some of that price action isn't justified. But what do you got going on there, bro?
All right, let's get to this lesson, baby. We're talking about average true range, but before, we do that. Adair is at the green screen. We'll start this when we get back.
Well, here's that lesson post-haste there. Quickly, though, we're going to take a look at some of the larger small-cap movers on the day. And it's worth noting, when you compare IWM's performance to that of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, you'll see something notably different. IWM continuing to push higher after finding support at 222, currently above 225, though it's noting a lot of these $2 levels, so 222, 224, we find a little bit of top and turn before pushing higher. So great look for the Russell 2000. What I want to do today for the themed small caps, if you will, are names with a market cap between $1 and $2 billion. So smaller caps, they're not as small as some of the names we're going to be talking about earlier in the day. First one on this list is OKLO. This company getting approval here from the Department of Energy with regards to its safety design for its Aurora fuel fabrication facility. Then its CEO made some comments on the company's outlook and nuclear outlook as a whole on CNBC. So OKLO with a 12.35% short float continuing to push higher here. That one has a market cap of around $1.43 billion. Rumble, RUM, this is another one that's run in the past, much like OKLO. This one has a market cap of around $1.75 billion from what I'm seeing, and a short float of just under 20%. This company also moves in sympathy to names like DJT and PHUN, both of which are running pre-market. But Rumble having a catalyst of its own with this online retailer named Sticker Mule announcing that it's moving its AI processing to Rumble's cloud. So RUM, great look. Last but not least, WOLF. This one's calmed down a bit, but Wolfspeed still up about 20%. Short float of over 31%, market cap around $1.8 billion, announcing that it's receiving $750 million in possible funding here from the CHIPS Act and an additional $750 million from this investment group that is led here by Apollo. So Wolf here with a $1.5 billion possible investment and a $1.8 billion market cap. Great look, guys.
Very much, Adira. Always like to hear the small cap segment, baby. I mean, come on. All right, guys, we're going to finish off the discussion today on average true range, talk about some of the benefits and some of the drawbacks of it. We've experienced how ATR can be a valuable tool for intraday trading based on our previous lessons. Today, though, we want to address a crucial point that ATR certainly is not the end-all and be-all or a crystal ball. It does offer valuable insights, but it does have limitations that we need to understand, so let's talk about it. What's the allure? Why do people want to use ATR generally, in case you missed the lessons we did yesterday and last week? Because it provides you certainty, some degree of certainty, and we all crave that certainty, but it might seem like a magic formula, but it absolutely is not. Remember, though, it's the market is far too complicated to rely on any one indicator, whether or not it is an accurate gauge or not, because sometimes the market just throws you curveballs that the ATR can't account for. So what does it do well? Well, it analyzes historical data. That we know. So by definition, it's backwards looking, right? So it's a lagging indicator. Here's how it helps, even without predicting the future, obviously. It helps you understand volatility. So ATR tells us how much an instrument typically moves in a single day. This helps us gauge the market environment and choose suitable trading strategies for that specific day and that specific instrument. So it helps you customize your trading strategies, or not just customize it, but to know which trading strategy to employ. It also helps you set realistic targets. Instead of fixed profit goals like some of us have, ATR allows us to set dynamic targets based on the expected daily range. So if you know this is likely to do about 3 ATR, $3 on the day, and you get in at the low of the day, you know you should expect something around that. Again, not a hard and fast rule, but it helps you set realistic profit targets. It also informs your stop loss placement. We talked about this on in the lesson, about how to use ATR for stops. We talked about the multiplier to use, et cetera, et cetera. If you didn't hear it, you didn't watch it, go back and you can review it there. So by considering historical volatility using ATR, we can place stop loss orders that account for that normal price fluctuation intraday, which prevents, obviously, unnecessary exits by placing it in random areas where the market doesn't care about your area. And last but not least, there's that trailing stop loss order, that trailing stop loss management that we talked about yesterday. How to use ATR to keep that, beak wetter going, or that that trailing stop going as the price ascends or descends, works for longs and shorts. So by combining ATR with trailing stops, it allows you to dramatically adjust your exit strategy as the price moves in your favor, balancing obviously the profit protection with giving it room to move. So you kind of always have that dichotomy there that you try to strike a fair balance with. But beyond the average true range, to make informed trading decisions, we certainly need to employ with other technical indicators. Obviously, technical analysis like support and resistance, moving average, momentum oscillators like RSI and MACD all work really well with ATR and building a full trading plan. But technicals are not just enough, especially if you're going to use this for swing trading. You need to know what sectors are hot, and in order to be able to know where to expect continuation rather than, just a momentary pop-up and then right back to mean reversion. So keep your eye on the fundamentals of the sector as well. And risk management, always practice sound risk management techniques like setting appropriate position sizes and obviously using your stop loss orders. And just to summarize, super brief lesson today, the market is dynamic. News, economic events, and investor psychology can all influence the price action and completely negate ATR. And it is a tool, not a guarantee, doesn't predict future price volatility. It is backwards looking and a lagging indicator by definition. What do you got for us, Adara?
Sorry for the interruption there. We do have Super Micro making a move with a pretty significant volume pop here to the upside into previous resistance around 47.70s. The company announcing it's adding this new all-flash storage solution, which is going to integrate DPUs here from Nvidia. This has to do with AI data pipeline acceleration. So AI-related catalyst involving Nvidia for SMCI, sending that one as of right now to the upside. Let's see if that volume spike holds, guys.
Nvidia? You heard of that company?
Yeah, I never heard of those guys before.
No.
Especially today.
No,
Today,
didn't make all-time highs. Don't know nothing about it. See Jensen ringing the bell on the NASDAQ? Well, not the bell. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
no, it was like a few days ago. I think
he was on Squawk Talk. I think.
He just weaseled into Becky quick shot.
Yeah.
Like she took the mic off like I do for Randy.
Talk.
Oh, it's so dope.
You can do whatever. If you're Jensen, you can do and show up wherever you want, right?
Yeah.
So you can do and show up whatever you want. So yeah, guys, we got some great questions in the chat from Joseph. What is a basic options strategy if you've never opened an options contract before? A basic strategy would just be buying calls and buying puts, but then also if you're really new, look to do kind of just a debit spread. So what you do is you buy a call and then you sell a call, which will reduce the cost of that, but it'll also reduce your profit. But it's a really safe strategy because therefore now you're on fixed risk and you're also on fixed target, all right? So also just look around, do some research, read some books about options before you make any trades, mess around on the options chain. Don't just dive right into it. And if you have an equities background, then understanding options will be significantly easier for you as well. That's a great question. And then we have another one from, where did I see that? Sorry, I lost your question. So Joe, how do you feel about selling short-term covered calls against leaps? Absolutely, and I think if the asset isn't moving in your direction how you want it to, and considering you have a leap, so there's a long time until expiration, absolutely just collect premiums on that. But sell those so far out the money that you don't get assigned on them, right? And if they do start to trade in the money, you don't want to give away that leap, right? Because your broker will just offset that trade, and then you'll have to give up those shares, all right, guys? So those are really good questions. Absolutely sell those contracts against your position. That way you can kind of create a passive income on the side while the asset also appreciates. And Sharif, guess what?
Yes, sir.
Bitcoin is recovering to the fullest. We're trading around 38.14 on IBIT, so we really like that. We're really happy with that second punch on IBIT, guys. So really good look there. I mean, hey, we're gonna look to take a little bit off the top here. So good look on IBIT. It's absolutely moving to the top side, brother.
Man, HIMS is hitting that 22 area that we talked about, so it's time to load it up and give it a look here. So it trades on the NY, excuse me. Thought it was an NQ stock, up 7%. And here we are with 22. Look, you can see the size on the book here at 22. Looks about maybe about 1,500 lots, maybe a little bit less than that. It's getting away from it right now, so you can't see the full size. The reason I'm even looking at 22 as a possible short opportunity, not going to take the resting order short, is because of what it's shown me on the daily chart. Multiple topping tails into 22 at that level. Again, very directional on the day. And I think your buddy in there in the chat, I forget his name. Greg, yeah. He was like, this reeks of a buy program.
Yeah. The guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and I agree, man. I mean, this is the 5 minute. Obviously, it's not as clean on the 1, but this is the 5, bro. This is just directional. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. I'm very interested in it. If it wants to take 22 decisively, then we'll take it long, man. Like, I don't really care. I saw you guys talking about Funware as well, trying to curl back up off that volume weighted average price. I've given this one too many shots. It's going to have to get above $7 and stay above $7 for me to get interested. It's still technically putting in lower lows, so I'm not interested on that one. But I saw what Neil wrote in the chat there. It's something that I've had my eye on for a while. Goggles is at the volume weighted average price, but it's done this before, 1135, 1140, and then we've been basically straddling VWAP since 1215. So now it's 1240. We're basically, holding this level. Whether we reject or not, we're going to have to find out. But Adara's at the big desk. She's got something for us.
Getting some volume spikes, the highest 2 volume candles of the day right now for MSOS. Seeing comments apparently from Kamala Harris circulating on social media. Kamala Harris, quote, saying, quote, no one should go to jail for smoking weed. So actually getting a bit of downside volume on this. But again, Democratic presidential candidate here, Kamala Harris, reportedly saying that, quote, no one should go to jail for smoking weed. Keep an eye on some of these marijuana-related ETFs and stocks with that on mind, guys.
People
in the States, they'll lock you right up.
For smoking weed?
Probably.
Seriously, calm down over there, bro.
Take it easy.
Like, before they legalized it here, like, the cops would just tell you, throw that out, please. Right?
I don't think they ever gave anybody trouble.
No, man, you were just told to throw it out, and you were told to go home. If you drive, though, that's when you're going to get booked, because it's impaired now.
They got their testing kits, I think, now.
They're called DREs, Drug Recognition Experts, DREs. But it's kind of, I'm not going to get into it.
Don't smoke.
But it's a whole thing. It's not a good way for them to win in court anyway. It's not as clean as impaired, like with alcohol. Like, that's more conclusive. Yeah. So these DREs.
You don't want to go down that path anyway.
No, bro, you don't.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm just keeping my eye here on Google because I like that idea by Neil. Shout out to him. HIMS, okay, as I expected, 22 tanks all the way back down to 2175. It doesn't tank, but it retraces. It gives you an entry. Now, is this an entry we should get into because it's still above the 10 exponential? Right, so 21.99 on the dot, and then you get one 5-minute candle, in fact, one 1-minute candle, bringing us down to, I believe, 73s or 73s. So we're bouncing back into 80. We still haven't given up the 10 exponential, nor do we have to retrace. It's entirely possible we zig and zag, consolidate, maybe between that $0.75 and the whole dollar. We don't have to go directionally one way or another. We can hold. There is a consolidation look on, obviously. So I want to see what this one does. If it wants to give up the 10, fine. If it wants to take 22, even better. But, there wasn't too much to trade in small cap gapper late today. This was it, and I missed it. So a little tough on myself right now, but hopefully we can do a little bit better if it sets up a little bit differently. Let's just make sure we've got this one on the side chart so it's updating at all times. Look at this inverse hammer candle. No, this is not an inverse hammer. This is actually a hammer candle. Getting bought up quick as you like off that 10 exponential. Doesn't even touch the 10 exponential. Front runs it by a few pennies. Good look right now. Shout out to you. What did you do there?
I think I did the Ding,
There it is.
Dun, dun.
All right, drug has reawoken. Drugs have kicked back in, baby, because this curled right off that $12 area. And here we go, moving into 16, DRUG up a light. 535%. Here comes $16. That's a big boy move off that $13. And then quick as you like into 16, a $3 winner. So Joe's like, he's astonished by these small cap gappers. I'm telling you, this is my world.
What is this thing doing? Like, what is this thing doing? Like,
This is the way it trades, man.
Up 560% on the day.
I love it. Here you go, Joe. We just took up the highs, Joe.
Insane.
It's going to halt.
Crazy. Wow.
Here we go, guys. Looks like we're going to halt at 1778. We're going to have to watch to see if this is a false halt. But the bamboozlement is fast, real, and certainly furious. As you can see there, we'll wait for we are now halted 1778. And to bring you back to another one, HIMS just broke the high of the day. What a retracement into the 10 exponential, 2203 now on HIMS. These small cap gappers are reawakening, baby. So we're going to have to load these up, and hopefully we'll do a little bit better on them this time. So you're probably not going to catch me trading drug because it's a monster and it's just kind of scary to trade. But if HIMS wants to set up, if Funware wants to set up, fine. Otherwise, we're going to pack our patience. Oh, we got some chatter over here in the chat.
Ooh.
Broad Street Wolf, member for a light, 47 months, 4 years? Dang, my man, you're as
Fours
good
up,
as
man.
me.
Show the fours
Yeah,
up.
fours
Show
up.
the fours up.
I love this, man. We're going to read this out. Thanks for all you guys do. Was able to quit my 9 to 5 and focus on my business with you guys ever since I was a guest trader. Let's talk NQ, please. You don't have to say please, bro. We're going to oblige. Just going to read the next super chat real quick. Shout out to Broad Street Wolf. Thank you for the kind words, my man. Nick Dub dropping the cash in the chat, my man. $20 super chat. Shout out to the OG Nick Dub, obviously known by us in the chat, always active. Trader TV, thanks for all you guys do. Joe has been a great addition. It's been nice to hear more about options plus swings, as that's mostly what I do. Keep up the great work. Sharif, Neil, Sean, Brendan, and Adara.
Hey, don't blow my head up too much. Hey, take it, tone it down.
Right?
Much appreciated, man.
You're getting the love, man.
We get the love, man. We
You're
love
getting
it.
the love.
We have another question, though, from my
Go
buddy.
for it.
And I think he's trolling, so I'm going to look you in the eye, Greg. You know exactly what you need to do when you know that position is out the money. But no, just all jokes aside, man. He knows we got some positions, little slightly out the money, dude. Just sell those calls. Collect that premium. If you're looking to hedge a position, but you still want to hold on to that long leg of the stock, my friend, you know that we're going to sell some calls against those positions. So good luck on you, my friend. Always good looking out. And Saeed Mahmood.
Look at your boy there, Greg. He's trolling you. Yeah, Joe's all right.
Yeah, I get that all the time. He said he could squeeze me in his schedule the other day. I said, thanks, man. How nice of you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's
a guy.
He's good. So shout out to, but you know what? He lives in Connecticut and he's a Bruins fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
Can't be a Hartford Whalers fan anymore. That doesn't exist.
they're
Remember
done.
those
They're
Whalers?
done. The Whalers, my guy, Jeff O'Neill. That's where he got drafted.
Well, that was a Connecticut team, right?
I don't know where Hartford is.
I'm pretty sure Hartford
Greg
is
can answer
Connecticut,
that.
yeah.
So, LOL, Greg. Is Hartford in Connecticut, Greg?
Yeah, he's LOLing.
Yeah, okay, so is Hartford in Connecticut? Let us know. And guys, also I had another question. Let me know when iBid is going to be optionable. No, it's not. So we don't.
My bad.
No, so we don't even know what we're talking. So, anyways, we don't know what's going on over in Connecticut. We just know GV is there, and that's all that matters. So, guys, listen. iBid, please, someone in the chat, tell me when they know that this asset is going to be optional because we want to know. And then Saeed Maoud, sorry to kind of skip over your thing. You wanted to go over MRVL, Marvel Technologies. Oh, it's kind of doing what the overall market is doing. I don't know what you're specifically looking on this asset, but yeah, exactly. It is no Marvel.
Yeah,
This guy's
Marvel.
the king, and he's trolling in my ear.
Oh,
all
yeah.
the
He'll
time.
troll you all the time.
All the time.
Ram's mean,
And I'm
but he's funny.
Yeah, he's funny. He's got the puns too. Him and Adara wrote the books. So, guys, that's all we.
Just got to pay a bill real quick.
We got to pay.
All right, Fabian, we ready for this? All right, imagine trading with someone else's capital instead of your own. That's what it means to be a funded trader at Trade the Pool. And here's how it works. You complete the evaluation program by meeting the profit targets. Once you succeed, you trade the pool's capital, which gives you the ability to trade with up to $260,000 in buying power. The best part is you keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm takes all the risk. It's the ultimate way to trade, whether you're a beginner or a professional trader. So go on and check out tradethepool.com. I weaseled on over there, and their website looks very promising. So go on and scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen, or go on to the link in the description of this video and get started today. And we had the guest on in the morning from Trade the Pool, man. And the dude, look, I was quite impressed with him. Yeah. I'd like to have him back. I forget his name, because we're always super busy with
I'll have to go back and
very impressive dude. Solid guy, looks at fundamentals and technicals, kind of mixes them together, kind of like how I like to do. I was very impressed by him, man, and a sound guy.
I mean, I think that's the way to do it, man. Like, you want to understand why a stock's moving, and it's not always just from a technical. It can be from a fundamental catalyst too, right, guys? So like, you definitely want to combine those things. And we were talking about this the other day, is like, why isn't Tesla strong? Well, there might be a little bit of negative sentiment. There might be some negative sentiment in the asset. And when you're looking to trade an asset, just look where kind of the overall market feels about it, if it's negative or positive. But we're going to talk more Marvell right after we get back from ATR.
Keep an eye here on RBLX. This one announcing getting a relative volume spike a couple minutes ago when they nearly made this announcement. Roblox announcing it's having its first ever Teen Council for Safety. We know there were two short reports back-to-back here, one from the Bear Cave, the other from Hindenburg, about RBLX. A lot of these short reports focused on the company's inability or failure to protect teenagers and children from potential harm. So RBLX announcing here this Teen Safety Council. Also keep an eye on DJT. We do have Donald Trump here, who is the majority shareholder of TJT and also the former president and current Republican presidential candidate, set to be interviewed here on Bloomberg Live. So I'll keep an eye on that interview right now. Keep an eye on DJT, guys.
Good stuff, Adara, as always. Love it. Yeah, guys, listen, Marvell, I don't know if that's something specifically I would be looking to trade, but when I was talking about iron condors previously, what you see here, aside from the breakout, is the type of price action that you're looking for, strictly sideways movement to create an iron condor, all right, guys? So that's going to give you a little bit better of a chance that the asset is going to finish within the range, and that's the concept of iron condors, guys. So, Joe W., what's the best play we can do with options on earnings day? That's a great question, and I think it's one of the more popular strategies is the straddle. And we were talking about the straddle yesterday. So essentially a straddle is you literally buy a call and a put at the same strike with the same expiration, right? And the idea of the straddle is that the expected move in that underlying asset, the move is vastly larger than the opposite party. So when the call, so if you're with the both options, the call and the put, when the call is significantly outweighing, so the asset trades higher, significantly outweighs the value of the put. So that's what a lot of traders do. They look to play straddles to get that increase in volatility, to increase the one party significantly larger than the other. Now, mind you, it may sound simplistic, but the options market is full of a bunch of really, really smart people, a lot smarter than me, or I could ever imagine to be. But what they do, they price in the expected moves into the options contracts. So just be wary of that, all right? So if the expected move is about 10% to either side, the options contract will have that priced in, guys. So you're going to need something greater in order for that trade to be profitable. But now you can also do a strangle. So it's a little bit more of a bias leaning to one side on that asset. So instead of having exact same puts and calls at the same strike price, one or the other is offset, creating a strangle, all right, guys? So one's a little bit more biased than the other. So hopefully that answers your question on the options. And Sharif, apparently Hartford is the capital of Connecticut.
All right, I wasn't that out to lunch.
No, we weren't out. I was out to lunch. So you know what? We were told that it is the capital of Connecticut. So,
I just remember the Hartford Whalers, man. They were a small market team, and where'd they move to, man?
Carolina.
Carolina, thank you.
Hurricanes. They became the Hurricanes, right? So yeah. So my good guy Jeff O'Neill on the TSN 1050 now. We like talking to him. So Joe, DJT, yeah, Havana Woody, you're still just trading up a storm, absolutely. with your position in DJT. So congratulations to you. Good luck on that, guys. And again, we'll pull up my chart here one more time. We're just going to touch on Marvell. This is exactly what I'm looking for, aside from the breakouts, to set up an iron condor. We want these sideways price movements, guys. That's exactly what we're looking for. And IBIT is starting to pull back in. I didn't get the top like I would have liked, but that's okay. We still got about 10 or 20% of this position left. If we get stopped out break even, that's totally fine, brother. What do you got going on over
Hims,
there?
man, it's breaking through 22. So here we go. Now, like, we can actually base a trade possibly off this level, this $22 level. Fabian, it did break through 22. We'll see if it wants to print or not. I'm getting some dark pools in the low. All right, so we did get the fill there. Now we'll see if it wants to run, man. I don't have the best entry. I tried to get into 22. It popped up on me through there. This seems like a buy program, 7.5%. I mean, it's like a Blue Chew. Who remembers the Blue Chew ad? It's kind of like that, right? They do have different products as well that they do launch in addition to the Blue Chew style stocks. Remember the good old days, Fabian says. All right, drug is open, guys. DRUG was halted. I believe it was a 10-minute halt. I'm not exactly sure. New high day, 1950. The halt level is 1775. Why does that matter? Sometimes I base these areas of support and resistance off the halt levels. I'm not trading this. I haven't traded well enough today to, be or to feel like I'm very accurate with my trading, especially with something moving as wildly as this. But this is certainly in play for those who want to size in accordingly, who like these kind of halting names. I don't happen to like them. 18 got defended and just 20 got touched. That's the kind of price action you can get in 30 seconds on this name, guys. A lot of zig and zag right now, almost 700%. We did weasel up into 680 some odd percent. What a strong day for drug today. I haven't even looked at the headline. I don't even know what the headline is. I'm just looking, I'm doing a cursory review. Derek couldn't find one. And there you go. And nor can I. I'm getting all these alerts on the news blotter with respect to resumed, halted, blah, 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 but nothing specifically with why it's gapping up 6 some odd 100%. $17 just got touched again. A bit of a topping tail candle now into $20. Oh, baby, this is ugly. And there goes 17 and a quarter all the way down. Now we're zigging and zagging. Can we hold 717 right now? Not. Well, yeah, we're going to hold it. We're in the 40s right now. So it's holding for the moment. So much chop and churn on DRUG. People were complaining that we weren't talking enough about this. Well, we're talking about it now. It's doing big boy things. We'll keep an eye on it. No question about that. All right, let's set up some beak wetters possibly here on HIMS. That will be the exception for me, not the rule. I just don't need to get that, eh? Adara had that on for a hot minute. I still didn't even get it back.
You don't got that
no.
one? Oh, man.
No, and it's my saying, right? Isn't that funny? So we'll pack our patience there, guys. Keeping my eye also on SOXS. Oh, baby. This is that high day. Triple levered inverse ETF, Joe, for the chips. And I'm going to give you guys a quick gander here at my chips watch list. Every single name, instead of Marvel, as you called it, Marvell, 3% in the green. Joe, everything. And it's not only ASML now, that's SSR. AMAT has also gone SSR, 10 and a fifth in the red. So we'll keep an eye on the chips. It's not been a good day for them today, no question about it. But does that continue? So we'll keep an eye on SOXS as it continues to head a little bit higher. Jack CW, CCL plans. I don't plan on going to a cruise, if that's what you're asking. No, I know that's not what you're asking. Let's have a look at CCL, my man. Good week for the, what are they called? The cruise lines last week, Joe. There you can see the breakout there. Big boy breakout through 16 into 2180. It looks like the high of the day is. Oh my God, did I just see that right on drug? Drug popped into $22 and then dropped quick as you like into 19 at 30. Tell him, MJ, what is this thing doing? Guys, the range on this 5-minute candle, I got to show this, Joe. This is a 5-minute look right here on DRUG. The low is 17, the high is 22. What is happening? That's a $5 range on a small cap gapper. Oh, baby, if you want volatility, you got it in spades. You're not going to see me touch this, though. No. Good look for whoever's trading this. I hope everybody is doing well. But be careful with this one, guys. As you saw, the volatility is real. And if you're not using the right position size and using stop-loss orders, that trigger, because some will not trigger if you don't put them in properly with that kind of volatility. It'll just blow through levels. And Joe, we should probably tell everybody, guys, if you are going to use a limit order and you're going to trade on this kind of stock, you need to have a big boy buffer between your triggering price and your limit price. Otherwise, use market orders, which I don't like either. So that's kind of why I stay away from it. Here comes 17 again, Joe, on drug.
Watch your size on it too. Like,
Absolutely.
you don't want to go. You don't want to go.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, you don't want to go too heavy on something like that. But Sharif was talking about SOX S and the cruise lines. Well, I'll be going on no cruise with my SOX L position because it is not doing what I want it to do. I seen the daily. I thought we were going to break out on a daily standpoint, and we did the total opposite. We absolutely rejected that. So your boy will not be going on any cruises anytime soon with this price action in SOX S. Guys, we had a super chat.
Fabian is the ultimate troll.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear this one. Did you block me out of that one, Fabian? Okay, all right. So, SP Williams, thanks for the $2 super chat. Is there some bad news on AMAT? No, I don't think there's any bad news on Applied Materials. I mean, it's just selling like the rest of the market, kind of. So I didn't see any specific catalyst on that specific one. And then we had a good question on LM&D. What do I think about this one? Thoughts on LM&D and something for a short. Seems like a good potential swing to follow the other heavily shorted names, UPSD and AFIRM. I mean, looking at LM&D, it's doing the total opposite. It may be the only super strong stock in the whole market today, and I'm not even too familiar with the company. So Lemonade Inc., never heard of them. Have you heard of them before, Sharif?
Aren't they the medical company?
Maybe, I don't know, but they...
LM&D?
Yeah, but they look like they're really strong. Excuse me. I don't see a specific short...
Renters, homeowners, life insurance.
Life insurance. Okay, so yeah, you don't want to be shorting these insurance guys right now, especially with everything that's going on and the increased premiums. So they're just collecting up a storm, even though they have to do some probably massive payouts down south there. But guys, you don't want to be shorting this asset right now, especially when the continuous trend is to the top side. So if you do want to short it, maybe just pack your patience a little bit on it, because you don't want to be shorting into this type of strength and then getting frustrated with the stock, guys. So good luck on LM&D, and that's just my 2 cents on that one.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Took out some profits here on
let's go.
HIMS, finally getting a dub. It's continuing through 22, guys, and I'm going to stay into this until it breaches the 10 exponential, because it's been awfully directional. De-risked a little bit here, looking to eke out some more profits if we can continue into a $0.25 HIMS. Very, very directional on the day. Joe, listen to this hot fire. And this is not like good or anything like that, but it's important to talk about because you brought up insurance and it jogged my memory. So Floridians typically pay, on average, nobody's the same, but on average, they pay 1% of their home value per year in insurance.
No way.
Just let's take that as a base.
Yeah.
They're talking about this popping because of like the 100-year storm being like every 30 years or 40 years now. Popping to 6, 7, and 8%, dude.
Yeah.
So people are saying there's going to be a major correction in Florida real estate value because people are not going to want that ongoing expense. Correct. Fact check me, chat, if I'm saying anything wrong or if my data is a little bit off. But people are saying legitimately, if things keep going the way they're going and these insurance companies have to keep paying out the stuff they're paying out, we're going to see a massive correction in the real estate prices there, which is sad.
Yeah, I totally agree. We're going to talk a little bit more insurance, guys, but first we are off to Adara.
We're going to take a look here at how crypto has been doing. First, we're going to take a look at BTC in the 5-minute chart. What a move up here. We have a quick wick into 68,000 before coming all the way to the downside and finding support at 65,000. From what I can see, it's not a catalyst-driven move to the downside. This one we had that move to below previous support on the NASDAQ as we had semiconductors push lower. Of course, on the ASML earnings, which again came in a little bit lower than expected there, though apparently those were reported too early. From what I was seeing, it was not a planned release. So interesting look there. Currently, though, BTC about 1,000 points away from day's high, currently trading just above 67,000. Also on watch here in the world of crypto, we have Litecoin LTE on USD. So we have this one in a bit of a range, having this wick into previous resistance at 71.30s before coming back down, currently trading just below 70s here for Litecoin. Canary Capital has filed for a Litecoin ETF. So this would be a spot exchange-traded fund there, a spot ETF for LTE. So keep an eye on this one. Canary Capital has also filed for an XRP ETF. So definitely LTE and BTC, of course, always on watch. Also, really quickly here, in terms of semiconductors, a couple catalysts coming out. Intel and AMD apparently working together for this advisory group for accelerating innovation for developers and customers. So keep an eye on this INTC AMD update. We also have Supermicro unveiling even more of these new innovations in tandem with Nvidia. We have right now Supermicro apparently announcing these liquid cool superclusters, which are powered by some of Nvidia's GB200 and HGX B200 system. This is going to be for energy efficient exascale AI data centers, so more AI collaborations for SMCI and NVDA, guys.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Adara. Our new high a day, Joe. HIMS is pamping. $22.28. We're long 222. Sorry, we're long 22.08. Good move up here for HIMS. I'm still of the opinion that this may mean revert at some point, so I'm cautiously watching here. I don't want to give back too much in the way of profits. The only reason I even feel that way is not because the day's been red. It's because there is resistance on the daily chart in and around 22. So keep an eye out on that. Havana Woody, I have no mortgage. I refuse to renew my homeowner policy. Well, I just want to say one thing, Joe, because you get to do that because you have no mortgage, my man. But if somebody goes to the bank, they are going to insist that you take out a policy. They're not going to give you a mortgage with no policy. They need some insurance on their asset. So you're going to have to pay it if you want to have a mortgage.
And you know what, Sharif, to add on to Havana's point, is you're hearing people just not even buying insurance anymore, whether it be car insurance, home insurance, or anything. You're just totally not buying it in the state of Florida because it's too expensive and people can't afford it. It's just not worth it.
Very well said.
Who's the governor? Rob DeSantis, I think? Yeah. He said people are still flooding in. I don't know where. Like, you guys just had a category 1, so I think he said that people are still flooding into the Sunshine State. But I don't know, man. The insurance game is not pretty over there. And I think we complain a little bit over here. But the home insurance here in Canada isn't horrible. Did you?
I got, man, 30-some-odd% year-over-year increase on my car. And with a perfect driving record.
No.
And I have the driving app, and I have a 100% score on my driving app.
Yeah, but you know what it is? You know what it is, though?
What?
The V8.
It's not even that. My old man got rinsed, too. And he's got a 4-cylinder hybrid.
Dude,
it's everybody.
I got a decrease in mine recently.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here, man.
Swear. It went from $178 to $168.
Maybe,
so we decreased, man.
Maybe you're right.
Hey, I don't know. We don't know. It's different. I mean, home insurance isn't absolutely horrible either over here, so we're really fortunate in that, but we don't have any natural disasters, any crazy natural disasters here. We just get cold and have to pay.
I want to mention DOG Darwin mentioned X, U.S. Steel. Donald Trump chiming in, Fabian, on U.S. Steel, and he was saying stuff that didn't please the market over here, mainly that he would, I guess, block the Nippon, whatever, deal with Japan. So watching shares of United States Steel, Donald Trump says if elected, he will stop the merger between U.S. Steel and Japan's Nippon, I don't know how to say it, if not completed. So there you go, U.S. Steel breaking down now into 36 and a quarter off that 36.75. It's not doing a whole hell of a lot, but it is down about 0.5% while being green. It was topping at 36.75, but the Donald Trump commentary bringing this bad boy back down. U.S. Steel not going to be allowed to merge, according to Donald Trump, if he is elected. I don't think that changed markedly from what the Dems want to do. I'm pretty sure that Kamala and or whoever, if she holds on to Lena Khan and Merrick Garland at the DOJ, I think they're going to do the same thing. So keep an eye out on that. Still watching HIMS here. Got into, again, 22.28. We're long 08s, and now we're dipping into 23. I don't want to give a lot back here, but I'm still of the opinion this drops to close below 22. So keeping my eye out on this one as it's dropping now into 20 pennies. Pretty Panda, glad I didn't take a little ticket on drug when it started blasting around 440. Really glad. Dude, don't even do that to yourself. You're going to do that, you're going to be really upset. You're always going to be mad at a trader. You're never going to have bottoms. You're never going to have tops. And even if you did, you didn't have enough size. So you're always going to be upset. You know, you just got to, you know, be thankful for whatever you were able to eke out today. I totally feel you, though, dude. I had eyes on this in the beginning of the day. Did I know it was going to be up a zillion percent? 984% right now. 984%, guys. This thing is a rocket ship, and people are asking good questions in the chat. They're like, this thing dipped from 22 to 17 in one 5-minute candle. How come it didn't halt? I don't have an answer to that. Okay? I don't. There's probably a reason that I don't know. It probably didn't trigger the whole parameters in the strict sense. Here it goes. Here comes the high of day. There's a new high of day, Joe. 28.94. This thing's over 1,000% now. 1,050%. The rocket ship is continuing to rock. I'm not talking about SpaceX, baby. I'm talking about DRUG. The drugs are kicking in, Joe. It's going to break 30, bro.
Man, what is going on with that thing? How can we not find any news? How is it up over 1,000% and nobody knows what's going on? So, but that's all right, man. That's the fun of it. Guys, we're still over here in IBIT. We don't got much of our position left, and we're going to look to probably get stopped out, break even here, guys. But just keep throwing your options and questions in the chat and what you guys are looking at. I'm looking to maybe join the trend here on TQQs. I think that potentially maybe, I don't know if the overall market wants to take another leg down, but I mean, if we start to break this 491 level, then I think we can definitely start to head in that direction, absolutely. So if the market decides to break this level, then we're going to join. We're going to play the break of the 491 on the Qs, so around 73-ish here on TQQs. We're starting to pick up a little bit of momentum here. IBIT's coming back in, so I think I'm going to punch out the rest of that position there, and then I'm going to flip over here to TQQs, and then I'm going to look to kind of join this trend here. We're going to give it the high at 73.60s, and that's about it, guys. So we don't want to give this too much room. We're looking for a little bit of a capitulation here on the overall market. Not too sure what Nvidia is doing, so maybe it's dragging the market down. It seems to be okay. Still just chopping around, kind of in a range. I think it's Meta. Meta is starting to come in a little bit too. Apple's still holding just below VWAP, but Meta's selling a little bit here. Let's see what Amazon and the other big boys are up to see why this market is really weak. And I mean, the SPY is relatively, it's not as weak as them, but it's relatively weak. So we'll take a look at that, guys. But what we'll do is, so this TQQs is starting to work out, but I never did this today, and I kind of want to do it now. And let's go through the sector ETFs and see what everybody else is up to and why the overall market is moving, right? So as you can see, the XLF is absolutely strong. We had great reports last Friday with the banks and then continuing today. So that can justify that totally. So that's the financials. And then we'll take a look at XLC. It is relatively strong, so I don't know what's going on. So we're going to look for him. We're going to find this sector that is dragging the market down, and I have a good idea of which one it is, and that's exactly why we're going to go to it right now, and that is the technology sector. It is absolutely just tanking today. It rejected it didn't quite make all-time highs, down about 2% on the session, re-entering this gap fill that happened over the past couple of sessions and coming back down to the top side, guys. So that's one look on XLK. And then let's take a look at some consumer staples, everything that's really fundamental to life and everything that we need from that perspective. So guys, it's strong too. But as you can see, what's really dragging down the market today is tech. So don't try to fight tech and go against that trend. Just go with the flow. Continue to the downside. Make sure you have your stops in place. Look for that proper RVR on the trade, and just don't chase anything, all right, guys? So just don't chase. I mean, we can bounce. It feels like we kind of put in somewhat of a double top here, and then can potentially break, considering we failed to make a new low here, came back, failed to make a new high, and then hopefully we can breach the 73 level and head back to the downside, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right. Keeping my eye on Nvidia as it was like looking to curl a little bit. We're going to give this one a try. Keeping an eye on the future as well. Interesting stuff happened on the Mag 7 right now. You're getting, you got Google breaching the volume weighted average price. I was keeping an eye on that. It's putting in higher highs and higher lows. So I'm trying to figure out, whether we should be looking to get this one on dips. You also have the likes of Microsoft that got a bit of a double bottom there at 415.75 and looking to work back into VWAP. So each one marching to the beat of its own drum. Like you've got Microsoft on the way up, you got Meta on the way down, looking to touch VWAP here at 585. Apple's been putting in lower lows and lower highs since putting in that all-time high at 237.49. And Tesla was just kind of hovering at VWAP, looking possibly to take it. But, I mean, I really don't have a look on a lot of these names right now, man. So we're going to give this one the old Colts try. We're super tight stop on this one. So if we get stopped out, we'll look to do a little bit better. But it was topping tail through the 20. I'm talking about Nvidia. It had topping tail candles. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get stopped out here. So it's all good. We'll look to do a little bit better on this one if it wants to reject the 20 again. Yeah, I just don't have a read. I don't have a read. So I'm going to stay clear of this market right now because it is all over the place, all over the place. The drug is coming down off its high right now, 29.12 HOD, coming back into 22 bucks over here. There is a decent area of support if we weasel down possibly into 18 bucks to take into account this area halt as well as that topping tail candle that we had around 17. So possible support for drug at around 17 or 18 bucks. But yeah, there's not a whole lot for me to trade on the day, guys. Not really getting the reads that I need. So if that's going to be the case, then I'm not going to trade for the sake of trading. You have anything you want me to look at in the chat, I'd be more than willing to look at it for you. But today, not my day in terms of executions, just not kind of jiving with my trading style, so to speak. We'll keep a lookout for anything that may be moving here. I forgot to mention, guys, the afternoon segment, nothing without you guys. The big kahunas both back at their desks, locked and loaded. Katina, man, what'd you get in today? Katina, man, banged out some cardio. Can I ask for how long? You cannot?
No.
Come on, Katina, man, give us the goods.
20 minutes on the elliptical.
20-minute elliptical.
Yeah, left.
10 on the rower.
10 on rower.
Oh.
And I did do some bench press.
Bench press.
Some flies.
And flies, baby. The dude killed it today, so he's locked, he's loaded. They're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you guys. So get into that chat right now. Exclamation point, the word join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice, Joe. One more time, there it is in case you don't know what the prompt is, but make sure you are entering it correctly because Streamlabs gets very upset if it is not entered correctly. So make sure you are doing your part there and getting the right entry in. Joe, what are you looking at, my man?
I'm looking over here at TQQ, guys, but I'm also over here shaking the 8-ball, and I'm going to ask it a question. Will we see 100K by year end on Bitcoin? So let's see what the 8-ball says here, guys. Not giving me the answer that I want. Can't read it, so we don't care. It's over. It didn't give me the answer that I want, so that's good news there, guys. So guys, we're gonna off to Adara, but after we're gonna talk some more options. Right after Adara.
Keep an eye on DJT and some of these other quote Trump trade related names, including INTC, Intel. I have this up because Donald Trump currently doing this interview with Bloomberg Business Network. We do have the interviewer asking Donald Trump his thoughts on the, quote, Trump trade in regards to interest rates. Donald Trump saying in turn that interest rates were not high while he was president. So just keep an eye on some of these Donald Trump associated in, quote, Trump trade related names with that in mind, guys. Just a quick update from that interview.
keeping an eye certainly on that. Adair, thank you for that. And he was also dropping hot lines about ex-US Steel. Shout out to the OG Darwin. Here we go. We're doing nicely here on Nvidia. We're about 30 pennies in the money. Let's weasel some more. Let's go. Finally, we eke out a win. All right, there we go. So we'll do a little bit better next time here off that 20 exponential. I think our front ran it too quickly, got too excited, had to wait for that 20 exponential to come in, but we'll see if this one wants to break 131. I'm all eyes and ears about adding to this trade, baby. If we can break 131 and head down into that 130 low of the day on NVDA, then that will be fine. Technically, the low of the day is not 130, excuse me, because the IB low took us below that. That's not even actually the IB low. A lot of corrections today. 10:40 a.m., we made a 128.74 low. So that's obviously outside the hour, the first hour of trading, therefore doesn't qualify to be the implied balance low. And here we are zigging and zagging with 131 on NVDA. Some support locally here. Hidden buyer, no question about it. There's not enough size at 131 to hold this up. But there we go. We give up the ghost at that level. Do we pop up here into 130 again, only to reject? Let's keep an eye out on this one as it's zigging and zagging, but NVDA in play, the chips, the entire bag or the entire semiconductor microchips are active today. A lot of high single-digit losers. On my watch list, there's two tickers that are SSR, ASML and AMAT. AMAT now did break down below 10%, so it is short sale restricted. Back below 10%, though, 9 3/4 in the red, so keep your eye out on that one. So AMAT, ASML, you could possibly have a short sale bounce or whatever kind of trade you guys want to execute on that. But I'm going to keep my eye on the king here, Nvidia, as it is rounded topping at the 20 exponential moving average, but finding support at 131, Joe. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Does it want to give up 131? A lot of buying here, dude. You can kind of see this zig and zag, a little bit above, a little bit below. So good luck right now for whoever's trading Nvidia. Meta just got to VWAP for all my VWAP traders there. META 588 rounded top, and now we're down into 585 right at the volume weighted average price. Possible support resistance flip, talking about this level over here where we had umpteen amount of rejections at 584.50 in the morning period. Now coming back down 585, 584.50, same difference on a $500-600 name. Do we find support in and around here? I love these patterns that kind of do the sideways S, right? Because it's kind of like a support resistance flip. So we'll keep an eye on Meta for anybody interested possibly in something long. On the day, META, obviously a rocket ship as of late, breaching that $600, albeit on a wick basis, not closing. So we'll just wait for that 600 to come in. You know that 600 is going to come in, man.
They got the Orions now.
Oh, yeah.
I think the market was pricing that in a little bit, and rightfully so, because that is an absolute great product. Guys, as for just talking about stocks this week, let me know what option strategies you guys want to learn, right? This week, Sharif, we're going to go over the options wheel, and I think that's a really popular one for everybody. It's a little bit more of a slow mover and less complex, right? One that you get to sit on your hands a little bit and let those gains do the work for you. It's not one of those high-speed credit spread trades. It's a little bit more of a slow burner, and I think people are really going to like that one. So, Joe, can you look at M going into earnings? Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at M. Macy's, when do they report? They don't report till next month. So, I mean, you got some time. I don't know how Macy's does. We don't have Macy's here in Canada. So, I mean, it's a good retailer, I hear. So, good look on them. If you're looking to play maybe the long here, I could agree with that, but again, this is more of a stock that I would look to play a credit spread on. I don't necessarily want to have the rights to any asset or play any directional options contract on M. So I would look to play a bull put spread around $14 if you can collect a couple bucks there 2 weeks out or so with an expiration of about 2 weeks out. So good luck on Macy's. You still have a little while before the earnings report, guys. So good look at that. And then, yeah, absolutely, I can look at Stash, too. I want to go over the Everybody House. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll take a look at Stash and TSM because I see them in the chat. So we'll pull those up, guys. I'm not really familiar with these. I know TSM, so we'll pull up TSM here. And it's doing, like Sharif said, the chips are just not doing so good today. It's a really weak day for the semiconductor world. The bag of chips are getting chewed up absolutely today. So guys, wait. I mean, TSM, it just made all-time highs, right? So hold on, pack your patience. If you're looking to get long on this asset, then just wait. I mean, if you want to buy the dips on this, then absolutely, because I think this is a great company. But just be wary, guys, because they do report this week on Thursday. So just keep an eye out for that. You don't want to get caught in any volatility onslaught, especially if you're in the wrong direction of the trade, guys. So good luck on those couple tickers that we have here. I don't know what just happened. Yeah, sorry, we'll pull up this here while I figure out why my P-Pro just kind of shut down. But hey, that's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get back on the grind. But yeah, we're just looking at TSM here, and then maybe we'll pull it up to Sharif's chart here while I figure out what's going on.
Yes, sir. What's
You were looking at TSM?
Yeah, I was looking at TSM for
All right, here we go. We're short Nvidia at 11s. Let's see if we can wet our beak to defend or to cover in front of the whole dollar. Looking for that 131 break, man. It's been elusive. There's been a buyer in and around that area. We'll see if that continues to sell. We're still putting in lower lows on the future. I mean, I haven't seen anything on the future to kind of get me excited for a long move here. So we'll pack our patience, see if we can get that print. Some selling coming in at the whole dollar over here. So we'll wait for that one to come in. Meta is still at VWAP, so that trade is still intact right now. It's a 2-candle setup right now at the volume weighted average price on META. That's what I'm looking at my side chart over here. It's kind of that sideways S support resistance, flip on Meta. We're going to see if we can execute something on there. All right, here we go, Nvidia. Let's come into that whole dollar, baby. When waiting for a hot minute, there's a buyer at 3 of, not big size or anything like that, but there we go. Big move down. Nice, Nvidia. Let's go. There's that same buyer, though, at the whole dollar. Look how we pop up every time. There's no size to be had, though, on any gateway, at any price near 131, whether, it's 131.05 or 130.95. There's no big buyers to be had. Hence, I'm of the opinion that it's a hidden buyer, right? It's an iceberg order that's keeping us afloat or something that's coming in. So we'll have to wait and see if that person gets exhausted or that institution's buy order gets exhausted and we head down, possibly testing that 130 level again on NVDA. But right now it is not forthcoming. The future heading back down to that 20,350. We know the low of the day is about 20 points below that 331. So if the future wants to tank, well, the chances are Nvidia probably comes down with it, but we're going to pack our patience, Joe. Were you able to execute on that? How's it going?
Yeah, no, and everything was good there, brother. Hey, I mentioned that I was looking to go short on the TQQs earlier, and I punched out kind of just around the top. It's not capitulating how I wanted to do. It's a little bit more of a slow grinder considering the time. And I should have waited for the better entry and then punched back in again. So that's okay, Sebastian. Don't worry about it. I didn't know that was not a ticker or it was a ticker. It seemed pretty long. So no sweat over there, brother. Much love, appreciated. We see you in the chat all the time. Oh, yeah. So don't worry about that one, guys. But yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking to see what happens here. If the market can continue to make lows and the SPY is doing that, now just down about over 0.5%, and the Q's a little bit more, about 1.25. So, I mean, we're relatively weak today, and I think that's been the narrative. So I don't know if any buy programs are going to step up later in the afternoon and see what's going on, because, and I think it's a really good idea that I didn't take the second entry on the Qs, because, I mean, we had made this big move in the opening drive to the downside, and now we're consolidating. So maybe it needs to grab some more liquidity, fail to make a new high, and then continue to the downside, or just do what it's doing right now and head to the downside. But yeah, this one was a misplay there. So we'll go 1 for 2 on the Qs today, and I think 1 for 2 on the IBIT. So those are the good looks on that one, brother. So that's it, man. Are you still pumping drug over there?
No, I'm not.
Okay, no, it's done. So the hype in that is done. That thing was up over 100%. We'll talk some more stock, but we are off to Adara.
We have Google on watch here, GOOGL, the moderator of the interview here. I guess the person interviewing Donald Trump on Bloomberg right now, asking about Donald Trump's opinion on the Alphabet antitrust suit. Donald Trump saying that Google's, quote, not very good to him, and also saying that they are, quote, rigged. So GOOGL moving down a little bit in response to those comments here. Keep an eye on GOOGL, trying to hold on to previous support at 165.60 on this 15-minute chart. Looks like that round of questioning is now ended. So DOJ, GOOGL, and watch here, guys.
Dara, yeah, keep your. We'll keep tabs on that. Make sure you're also keeping an eye on X. It looks like it's recovering though. Donald Trump was commenting on or about the whole X saga there with Nippon Steel. I don't know how it's said. The market continues to want to bleed, and here comes Nvidia. So I got out of Nvidia, and there it goes again, breaching this time. Let's see if we're able to weasel into this trade and bleed a little bit more. Our short 94s. Let's see if this one wants to bleed a little bit over here. It's zigging and zagging right now. I did get stopped out of my meta position, sadly, as it did break the volume weighted average price. So tough look, man. Tough look today for me trading these names. Oh, wow. Google just dipped aggressively there. I'm not sure what's going on with goggles. But, oh, that was the Trump thing. Adara, thank you for that. Big move down for Google. Looking to come into 165 area there. 164.91 LOD on Google, Joe. So I have to just put out my stop, so I'll send it to you.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, guys, listen, we missed out on this TQQ trade, and that's totally fine. But we're talking Google, so let's pull up Google and see what they're up to. Dara said that there's something going on with Trump with that, so this thing is absolutely selling. And, I mean, they have the antitrust probe into them as well too. So there's a little bit of some weak sentiment with this stock, and I don't know. Is it going to be long term? I don't think so. I think this company is just too strong and powerful to hold down for too long, and I think that eventually it's going to catch up to its peers, and then it's only a matter of time before this asset continues to the top side. And I think Katina Man can confirm that too, because I think he has a pretty large position in Google in his long term as well too. So that's something that I have as well. So, but first we are off to Money Talk.
Just a quick update as well here on the comments coming from Donald Trump with regards to GOOGL. Basically asked whether or not he'd be interested in breaking up the company as per what happened with the DOJ. Initially said he'd, quote, do something, then said it's less about breaking them up and more about making them, quote, more fair. So just an update there with regards to GOOGL. Now, the DXY looking great here on the weekly chart, currently at its highs of week on this Tuesday, coming off. It looks like we're going to continue this 3-week winning streak. First week here actually taking out 5 weeks of downside. So lots of support still just above that 100-point area here for the DXY. We had some comments coming out earlier from Feds Daily. Lots of things being said here, but it's most interestingly worth noting here. Feds Daily saying that true neutral rate might be closer to 3%. Also saying that the fact there wasn't, or I guess a lack of Fed dissenting from that 50 basis point FOMC decision in September doesn't mean there's a full agreement. We already kind of got a sense from that. We had one Fed member actually dissent from the decision, Fed's Michelle Bowman, but also in the FOMC minutes last week, we actually had some signs that more Fed members than we expected were actually not in agreement with that decision. And Fed's Bostic actually saying that he'd be okay with having pausing on one of the rate cuts either in November or December. So Fed's Daily kind of reaffirming some of those ideas we already had on dissent in the Fed with regards to rate cuts. Also, Fed's Daily saying that the talk of these gradual rate cuts could mean, quote, less than it appears, and that she'd be interested in 1 or 2 rate cuts for the rest of the year. So keeping in with a potential November, December, or both cut. These comments here from Fed's Daily, kind of reaffirming what we already knew. So keep an eye on that. We also had comments from Fed's Kugler expected at 1 p.m. Not hearing anything market moving coming out of that. In terms of the rest of the week, we'll be getting important export prices coming at 8:30 tomorrow. Lighter day for Fed speak, but quite a lot of Fed speakers coming through Thursday and especially on Friday, guys. And if there's any tickers you're looking for, you only have 20 minutes left to vote. Get in that chat, $Dwayne, space, $, and your ticker of choice, because Sean and Neil will cover the top 5 tickers on the rundown at 2 p.m., guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Thank you for reminding me about that. I always forget to tell you guys to vote. And yeah, Adara remembers, so shout out to her. So yeah, keeping an eye on this one, man. I got really bamboozled here on Meta. Absolutely the right idea. What would have done really well on this. This is a lesson in stop placement over here. There you go. There you go. My loss is your win. Over here, look at it. It's just really going right now. So a little frustrated with this one. Really good idea to execute at VWAP, but you know the stop placement was wrong. So keeping my eye on Meta. If it wants to come down into VWAP again, Joe, we'll give this one the old college try. What are you looking at?
Yeah, absolute. I was just looking at some Google news, guys, and the first thing that pops up when I read this thing is that it's trading at a discount to its peers. And analysts are just upgrading this thing. So if you have the ability to buy dips on this asset, then just do it. Alphabet is a great company. I think it's just something that you really want to own in that long-term portfolio, guys. So yeah. So listen, I'm in some TQQs long here now. I don't know if this is going to work out, but I've seen that Meta and everything else was trading to the top side. So let's see if we can bounce off of this support level here and continue to the top side, and maybe we can get around VWAP here on the TQQs, guys. So hey, we only got about 27 minutes left, everyone. So just please put your options questions in the chat. We want to answer those. This Thursday, we have the options wheel, and look, there we go. K-Fry, when is a good time to average into an options play if you have long calls? I mean, if you want to average into an options play, you can totally, but don't forget that time is against you, and the pricing of options contract is slightly different. But if you're looking to average in, the beauty about options is that you can mitigate risk by selling some calls against your long call position. So what this will do is offset your losses. Not completely, but you can decrease that by a couple percentage points, that total loss, right? So if you have a long call that's still out the money and it expires far away, you can collect some premium by selling far out the money calls, and that will reduce the loss. And then if your thesis does play out, you still have time and room for that long call to appreciate, all right? So that's something that you want to look into. And guys, continue with the questions. That was a really great question. So me personally, options aren't exactly like equities. You don't necessarily want to average into them, even though you can, but there's other ways to mitigate that downside risk, all right, guys? So, and the Qs is continuing to sell here. The overall market is moving. Apple is slowly bleeding. It's giving up a bit of its day here. I mean, it still have a strong day, but we're heading towards that 5-minute opening range. We're not quite there yet, but we're starting to slowly crawl to it. So if it gets into that 5-minute range, look for some potential more downside there. And I'm long the Qs, and it's not looking too pretty right now, but we'll see if we can hold this support level. Then I think we're going to be looking pretty good there, brother. How about, what do you got going?
All right. Well, I just took a bit of finally a bit of a dub here on Nvidia, but we got to do this. Okay. All right, so we'll keep watching Nvidia here for a hot minute, and I've got a next beak wetter sitting at 80s. Was able to get some out there in the high 80s. We'll see if this one wants to continue to head down. It was a nice little curl off the 10 exponential again. Off the 20 exponential, kind of this rounded top, but it seems to have buyers at every incremental level, which isn't really a surprise on Nvidia, given how exuberant everybody is about it. But every time it dips down, it's met with a wall of buying. So it's not a bad look for the longs today because it's helped prevent a lot of the bleeding that could have taken place. 5%, I get that's a lot, but you know, have a look at the chart and what's been doing lately. So the strength has been there. Now we've got another buyer here in the mid 80s at around 85, 86. Look at this, really preventing it from going down any further, but we are now ready to pay bills. So let's do it. Are you ready to trade smarter, not harder? If you are, upgrade to that elite trading experience. I'm talking about eSignal. You can analyze, you can strategize, and you can certainly capitalize. Try and see those foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. You get infinite data, you get instant trading, and you know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data. Charts that change the game is just the basics here. You can customize and you can analyze the markets faster in the way that you want. You also get better backtesting and better scanning. Predict the future by understanding the past. Real-time, reliable data is the standard at eSignal. You get up to the second market information from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan the QR code on the bottom right of your screen or check out that link in the description. Shout out to the good folks there at eSignal. Can't wait for those accounts to get live, baby. We get those November 1st, so be pumped for that. Yeah, there's a whole lot of buying here in the low 90s to high mid 80s here on Nvidia. Like the amount of chop and churn right now, and it's not giving up the ghost. So I'm backing my patience. If I can get the print at 80, fantastic. If not, we're just gonna get stopped out again. Nothing new today though. What are you looking at, Joe?
Yeah, same thing, guys. Katina Man said he's short TQQs. That's kind of a signal for me to get out. We don't want to fight that. So even though it is pulling back a little bit, but hey, we're just gonna hold on to that one a little bit. We took a couple stabs at it. It's not doing what we want to do. So it's just going back to something that's been working for us, right? And that's exactly what we want to do. So we're gonna see what IBIT is up to, see if we can hold VWAP here. If we decide that we're gonna bounce off of VWAP, then we're gonna look to join the trend back to the top side. I was hoping that we kind of made a new high here, but we failed to, and we made it a higher low. So, sorry, a lower high, and that's not something that I want. But if it holds VWAP here, then I think we'll be okay. So if we get to that point and I see any signal that defines like, hey, we might turn around a little bit, then I'm gonna look to join, and it looks to be doing that. And the TQQs are moving to the top side. So I don't know, missed out on that one, but that's okay, because there's always gonna be more opportunities, guys. And that's all there is. We only got about 20 minutes left or so. So we'll see what pops out. We're not gonna force our way into anything. We're gonna let that stuff come to us, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll do just that, just putting in my stop. All right, keeping an eye on Meta as it got another bounce off the volume-weighted average price. Keep your eye on that as it continues to try to work into that 587. Technically on the day, it is 588. Or not technically on the day, sorry, the area that I'm looking at here, the area crest on META around 588, obviously the high of the day, 590.61, but it's working off that VWAP. So if you were able to give it enough room, I think you were rewarded over here as it works its way right back into that level. Good look right now for Meta and for some of these other Mag 7 names as they look to bounce back up. 20,370, we're still below the 10 exponential moving average right now on the 5. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We're short 33s here on Nvidia, so we'll look to wet our beak a little bit in the mid-teens. We'll cover a little bit there. Oh, crap, I got out of the entire thing, my bad. All right, so we can just get back in again. What's the point? Okay, so we're still below the 20 exponential. I like this area getting back into Nvidia at the $0.25. Let's see if it can work its way right back down, possibly into the mid-teens again, and we'll look to scalp on this one, just like we've been doing all day. So here it comes again, zigging and zagging right now as the future does pop a little bit back into 70s, give or take, Joe. But that meta VWAP trade, that was the one that I really had my eye on that I kind of missed, and I'm really lamenting having not executed properly on that one. But that's the way trading goes over here. So that's how it
goes sometimes, brother. I mean, you've been rolling the past couple of days, and
it's been okay.
Yeah, so that's good. So not every day is pretty, and not every day is all roses, guys. But we're doing exactly what we thought we were going to do in Bitcoin. I mean, everything is holding. I went back into TQs, and I went back into IBIT. A little bit of a chase here on TQs. It's not the best entry, but we like where we're sitting on IBIT. And we're going to look to take some off the top here shortly, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to lock in a little bit of profit on the IBIT. And I hope that Bitcoin continues to the top side. It's been my narrative for the session, and I'm going to stick to it, guys. So, hey, let me know any options questions, what you guys are looking at for options or anything. We know that this Thursday we have the options wheel. I think there's a lot of people in the chat who've been looking forward to that one and been asking a lot of questions about the options wheel. So I'm more than happy to talk about that with you guys for the lesson of the day. But if you guys have anything going on, let me know what you guys are into or what you're looking at on the chain, where the open interest is in the overall market. Let us know. Tell us, hey, Joe, I see this, I see that. And then we're going to talk some options. But first, what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to take a little bit off the top here on IBIT.
Nice.
Just a little bit, not too much, just about 10% or so. And I think we'll let the rest of this continue to move to the top side. So there's that. I mean, we're just continuing with the trend. As you can see, we got the move in here at VWAP. We came back, held VWAP, and then continued back to the top side. And that's the exact type of moves I'm looking for, is try to hold those continuations. Find the continuation within the trend and then join it. what I say, narrative, don't fight the stocks. TQQs are starting to trade a little bit higher too, so maybe I look to take a little bit off the top on this one as well. It's not nothing crazy, but now I'm risk off, right? So if it comes back to my break even, then we'll just go with that. But IBIT is absolutely ripping. I'm seeing NIVF in the chat. Sharif, this might be down your alleyway. You know the NVIF.
Yeah, I have that.
NVIF, that is absolutely on. How come I can't pull that? I can't even pull it up on TradingView. So
Here it is. I got it right here.
He's got it right
it's
there.
It's one of the ones we were watching today, Joe, but it had a bit of a double top. Last time I looked at it, that double top just got taken out in spades. 328 high a day. Good call out, Joe. Didn't have an eye on this one. I was watching Nvidia as we're short at 33s right now. But yeah, what a move up for NIVF. And I love this because these small cap gappers that get into that, triple digit territory, and in the case of drug, quadruple digit territory, tend to have this kind of precipitous effect where, other triple digit small cap gappers will show up in the days that follow. So I'm happy with that. And obviously didn't trade drug today. NIVF I didn't have a look at either because it was kind of rangy at the level I didn't like, but that's off. That's changed now. So Nvidia keeps coming back into my level over here, but we keep getting these topping tail candles, but I think that we're putting in higher lows, so I don't want to overstay my welcome on this. We're in the money on it. I'm going to take it out over here just to cover, and if it ends up coming down, it ends up coming down, but, it's putting in a higher low, so I was not really all that confident with holding the short at this level. So we're going to pack our patience, see if we can maybe get in if we get a decided break of 131, but that wasn't forthcoming on Nvidia. At least that not in my estimation. It just had too much buying in and around there. And even when we did breach that 131 level, you saw a lot of buying. And that's kind of, I'm not really surprised with that because it's been very strong lately. So a lot of people, probably getting some FOMO, be like, oh, I missed Nvidia, dips back down. You're punching long. Meta's continuing to go, guys. 587 right now. We're looking for 588 and change. That's where the top is right there on I'm not in it, Adair, but thank you. 588 right now. That's the top that I'm looking for because that's the area top, the kind of the rounded top. The other thing that I like about this is that it continued to put in the higher lows. So even though we were talking about this inverted S, not inverted, sideways S, where resistance flips to support, and sometimes the other way around. We are still putting in higher lows, even if we did that. So 588, I'll be looking for whether or not Meta rejects off that level, seeing that as it did reject last time. So that's a good look. Also, Amazon waking up as well, just took VWAP. Decent look there, breaking through 186 1/3, on its way to 2/3. In fact, it's at 2/3. A bit of a gap from where we're currently trading at right now, this 186 2/3, and the closing print on the day, which is 186.56. You do have the IB low, the implied balance low, at around 186.75. Shout out to Dan, the dang man Emmons. I saw him in the chat today, albeit briefly. I'm talking about this candle right here. The implied balance low takes us into, like I said, 186.75. We're printing 73s now. So let's see if this one rejects off the implied balance low. Otherwise, a bit of a gap until the closing print from yesterday at 187.50 and change. So Amazon looking awfully good right now. What else is looking good? Softy's been working its way right back up as well. Higher lows there, still below VWAP, and still with this 418 local area top with which to contend. We rejected twice off that 418 today on Softy, the first time at around 11:15. And then you had a 2-candle hold up here at 1 o'clock, 3-candle hold up, excuse me. We're testing that with higher lows. So we could be easily taking out that 418 top end, and by more extension of that 418 1/4 where VWAP is. So keep your eye out on Softy, keep your eye on Meta. Meta's almost at 588, man, working into 587.5. So the strength is coming into the markets. That is, of course, unless your name is Apple, Tesla, and Nvidia, seems to be a little bit stagnant there, Joe.
And AMD.
And AMD, but that's not Mag 7 though.
Yeah, no, not yet. So, hey, that's all right. Hey, guys, we got a really great question from New York Cent. Joe, do you only play options on very volatile stocks? Example, Tesla compared to Walmart options or options on Walmart? Yeah, that's a really great question, and you kind of nailed that one on the head. The premiums that you would receive on a company like Walmart are significantly less. So if you're an option seller, you're looking to play those more volatile assets, and with more volatility comes more increased premiums, all right? So when I'm looking to play those in a credit spread basis, I'm gonna look at the more volatile assets opposed to Walmart. But what I was referring to earlier in the options wheel, and I think I mentioned it yesterday, is that a company like Walmart is something that you would want to employ the options wheel on. It's consistently in an uptrend. You want to be able to buy the dip. You want to be able to buy that asset at a price that you want, and then you can start selling some calls on that. They're not going to be drastic amounts, the premiums that you receive, but it's still positive cash flow into your account where you can essentially get paid to own the stock that you want. And then as the asset continues to move higher or move sideways, you can also continue to get paid by selling calls on that asset as well too, guys. So that's a really great question. I'm glad that you asked that one, and that's really important is, hey, you got to notify what you're employing from a strategy point of view and what you're looking for. Are you looking to collect premiums, so therefore you'd want to go into more volatile assets, or are you looking to own a stock that you want at a discounted price and still be able to make a little money on the side? So that's a really great question. I really like that. And I think I really like the options wheel. So I think you guys are really going to like that one. It's a really great strategy and it's really consistent, right? So, but there's a lot of key things that we're going to touch with the strategy because you just don't want to employ it on any random stock. Guys, we're going to get out of our TQQs long here, but we're still holding on to this IBIT. Let me pull up our TQQ here. And yeah, so you can see that I bet we are exactly. So we are, we're out of here, break even. We got a little bit of a move there, so we can't complain. We'll eliminate this loss here and this loss here, so that's something really good. A little bit of a chase to the top side, but that's okay. But we're still here in IBIT, and I think that this thing can continue to grind. And you know what? Surprisingly, Bitcoin does most of its moves after hours. You wake up and the thing's up 6 or 7% with a blink of an eye, guys. So we only got about 10 minutes left. So make sure you throw those options questions in the chat. Make sure you have any ATR questions, you throw them in the chat for Sharif. And we're just going to continue the drug. So we'll pull up drug because this thing absolutely seems to be trading to the top side. Still up about, I don't know how much percent now. Over 1,000, almost 1,100% on the session. The thing went from $2.65 all the way up to almost $30. Wow. Talk about squeeze. I don't even think this asset is optionable, but that would be the definition of a mega gamma squeeze on this thing. I don't know the news. Adara, I don't know if Adara found anything. Still nothing, Adara? Adara
She's got it. She's got
it now. Okay, so we're going to go to her and we're going to figure out what's going on with drug.
Jeez.
I didn't find anything, but I did do a bit of an investigation here. I was looking on the company's website to see if they've released anything here. The company is called Bright Minds Biosciences. They did actually have a link here saying as of October 3rd that they're set to participate in some upcoming scientific conferences and events. When I went to click on it, it says the page is no longer found. So a little bit confusing as to what events this company is set to participate in. In terms of facts, though, on this stock, currently a massive market cap increase here, about $91.5 million market cap from what I'm seeing right now. We have a pretty small float, 2.88 million share float, 35.5% insider owned. We know sometimes when companies have larger percentage of insider owned, it can give them a little bit of a run. Short float, not significant, about 3%. This company getting lots of social media attention here, though, as well. DRUG. And make sure you like and subscribe to the stream if you're liking the content, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. Yeah, that was a bit of a bamboozler today, especially when you run up 1,000%, Joe. You expect there to be a reason. There's a new high a day, guys, 30.53. This thing keeps on zigging and zagging. You're going to have a good risk appetite to be involved in this name because it moves dollars in seconds, baby. NIVF was the other big mover on the day that we covered. It's coming off the highs at 328. Not as much of a bamboozler, and I shouldn't say that because they all kind of march to the beat of the same drum. They're all bamboozlers in chief, but I'm looking for that possible 250 hold up, 240 hold up there for the 10 exponential. Otherwise, I'm looking at that $2 level. We did zig and zag at that $2 level for the majority of the morning before getting that big boy breakthrough. I believe like on a decisive basis, you could make the argument it came in at 130. So we'll see if this one comes down, topping tail though, or 3-candle hold up, I should say. Maybe not really a topping tail, into that 3 1/4, technically 328, about 75, or yeah, about 75 pennies off that high right now. So NIVF, good look. Not a bad look at all. So is HIMS, man. This was a mistake of the century to get out of this at 30s. It continued to go. I had a bias that this one would kind of mean revert right at 22, only because of what I saw on the daily. Going back to the late July, early August period, you can see all these topping tail candles into about 22 to 22 and a half. We're at 22.60 today, so we're above all those levels. Yeah, so my bias was wrong there. Took it for a nice move up, but definitely got out far too early. But HIMS, hey, it's giving you that look, guys. What are you looking at, Joe? What's
Dude,
going on over
I'm
there?
asking for the float on this stock, right?
On drug?
Yeah, on drug. So it's about just under 3 million, trading 66.2 million shares on the day. So talk about float rotation. This thing has been cycling shares for the whole day. Just under 67 million shares on a 2.8 million share float. It's absolutely insane. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that or seen anything like that. And the market capitalization on it is 5.3 million. Like, what? Like what? Like it would not anymore because it's definitely gone up. So it's how much now? 95. So how do you go from 5.3 million to 91.5? That is absolutely insane. If I am the CEOs of this company, I am offloading shares. I might even sell the largest stake that you could possibly imagine. And the crazy thing about this is that it's memeing. We don't know what specifically is going on with this asset, and it's absolutely crazy. So, hey guys, whoever's been long this thing, congratulations, because if you put a couple bucks into it, you would have some pretty pennies right now, guys. So, all right, I'm sitting flat on the day. There's not much going on. I'm just joining the fun in with drug. I'm not going to take any trades on this asset at all. TQQs, we got out break even, and then now I'm all out of my IBIT, guys. We only got about 5 minutes left. So, guys, yeah, Adam, to be honest with you, hey, congratulations, man. So if you guys were killing that, this thing has been an absolute mover, so just be wary. Don't try to short this thing because it's clearly squeezing it. It's doing something out of the ordinary. It's moving outside of the overall markets, guys. So don't fight anything and don't take any big crazy risks if you don't have the risk tolerance for it.
Absolutely. So Meta comes into that 587.5. Doesn't quite make it up into 588. Was watching this one quite intently, Fabian, to see if it did want to reject that 588 level, at least for the moment. It's not really coming into that level. So we'll pack our patience to see if this one wants to do a 2 or 3 candle, maybe set up to the downside to bring it into around 585.20. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Meta has definitely a good look today. I did really like this VWAP hold, but I executed really poorly on it. But I'm still, interested to see if we can, take something back down into VWAP over here. So Meta only down about 0.2%, but giving you an interesting area of price action resistance. Microsoft as well, good look here. It was pumping into the 50. It's got a two area hold up here at the 50 exponential moving average, but it's still putting in those higher lows. You good?
Dude, this thing's making new highs.
Oh yeah,
now.
bro. You got to get used to these ones. That's how they roll.
This is how they move,
Yeah.
Wow. This is crazy. And then it just
I love it. Joe's like getting acquainted with the small cap gappers, man.
This is crazy.
They're nuts. Yeah.
But dude, it's not like every day you see something up over 1,000%, right? So that's the beauty in it.
The small cap gappers, they march the beat of their own drum, bro. Like they do what they want, and no one's gonna tell them how to act. No, I'm kidding, of course, but yeah, that's just how these small cap gappers are.
Davey day trader is having a blast.
I bet. I bet, man. Don't forget about NIVF, guys. It's still well above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and it doesn't have to be the drug show. It can be the NIVF show as well because that has support at 250. It's been a 3 candle hold up right now though at the lows. What's going on over there, Katina, man?
You didn't see it.
I missed it. Yeah, shout out to him. What are you doing, bro? Get some help, bro. Drugs are not the answer. Well, unless they're prescriptions. That's fine there. Even then,
Even
says
then.
Tina, man. Look, NIVF looking good over here. Did hold up at 250 initially. And by the way, was this a halt level there? Yeah. So it's 250 level. This is a halt level as well. And you know my affinity for using halt levels as areas of support and resistance out on these small cap gappers. So, hey, look, if this one wants to hold up at that level, fine. We'll take it possibly back long. It's not such an aggressive mover, although it did have a big pop up on the day. Look for another test of 3, though. This could be good here. Joe, what are you looking at, my man?
Hey, brother, I'm just here. I'm in awe of this drug. I'm having an absolute blast here on this, just watching this thing. I'm not even trading it, guys. Yeah, exactly. It's extremely euphoric. I'm getting it in the ear from Fabian, and this thing, it's fun. I think this is crazy. Like, if this thing's up over 1,000% on the day, if only AMD could do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. AMD, just give me about a 10 to 15% day, and then we'll be sitting pretty in Suntan City. But guys, we're reaching the end of this session. Tomorrow we have Sharif and Satya. And then Thursday, we're off on the options wheel. It's going to be action-packed, guys. I think everybody's looking forward to it because we get a lot of questions. It's like, hey, Joe, I have this position. I don't know what to do with it. It's out the money. It's not making any money. Or I have these calls or puts. Or they're not making any money. So what we're going to do is we're going to tone it down. We're going to get into another strategy session with options, and that is the options wheel.
That's going to be great, bro, because that's the one that you and I went to at the Money Show. That's kind of like my introduction into options. I understood a little bit of what he was doing, but you'll recall you and I were talking about after the fact that he was explaining very well how is he able to generate cash on a weekly basis, but he didn't really go into enough detail about what he was doing with the actual equities that he was realizing, and he was DCing into those. And I wanted to know what his plan was because he kept, remember, $20 was his bottom, and then he kept DCing into the 19s.
His risk management was definitely different, but we'll definitely take a look.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
And we're talking about weekly expiries because that's how you do things.
He doesn't know. So this is more of a longer time frame, right? So the running the options wheel, you want more slow burners. It's not like the consistent weekly income, but they can still create that consistent return, right? And a lot of the options guys say 15 to 20% on top of what you've made on the year is something that you can look in with the options wheel. So that's very intriguing. And I think that'll be intriguing for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, and we definitely have a lot of interest. Can't stress this enough in the chat about options, man.
Yeah, that's
and it's like people seem to love options lately. So yeah, in case
growing in popularity. I mean, with IBKR, we're talking about IBKR. You talked about the CEO, and he's just like, yeah, there's increased options activity all around.
All the time.
So that's great.
All the time, guys. All right, it is now officially 2 o'clock. The big kahunas, they're locked, they're loaded. I'm going to weasel my way over to the green screen in a second, and we'll get the afternoon rundown. Make sure to vote next time if you didn't vote. But for me and Joe, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take it over, big kahunas.
Make sure I'm not muted for a second there. Welcome, everybody. It's the afternoon now, although, I mean, it was already the afternoon, but it's 2 o'clock, so we're back.